What's going on, you guys? Setting up here. Just give me a second. What's going on, you guys? Setting up here. Just give me a second. What's going on, you guys? The hell? God, Rumble is such a piece of shit. What's going on, guys? What's up, dude? We got a lot to cover today. It's beginning. The news is kind of wild in terms of what's been going on. I'm trying really hard to put everything on Rumble, but it's a massive piece of shit. God, the UI is atrocious, dude. No wonder I stopped using it. Okay, let's see. There we go. All right. Welcome in, guys. Okay, there we go. You'll be covering my video over the Nick Fuentes? Okay. Feel free, brother. Link it to me in the email. I'll try to watch it. All right. I think everything is good. Should be ready to rock. Good morning, Kane. How are you? It's tribeofmen@yahoo.com. Hello, everyone. Winter is in session in Europe already. It's a very, very cold day. But anyways, I wanted to talk to you guys about, let me pull it up here on my other screen. Some crazy stuff is going on. Apparently, they have instituted or are planning to have mandated, from what I just saw in the UK, digital ID. It is now official and it is mandatory in the UK for you to have digital ID. I'm not joking. I pulled this up and checked. There is already 1 million, from what I have seen, 1 million signatures petitioning to get that reversed. And it's deeply unpopular, with some MPs also voicing concern over digital ID. But the issue is, this comes at a very strange time, by the way. So we're fresh off the heels of the UN meeting where Trump lambasted the entire UN, told them they need to close their borders, told them that essentially they're destroying their own countries and you won't have a country anymore if you don't fix the migrant issue, the open borders. And once the dressing down ended, that also came on the heels, of course. Let me not forget this. The UK had a massive demonstration of 3+ million, potentially, for sure, in the millions of people were demonstrating as it was labeled, far-right demonstration or a protest, but really it was just ordinary British citizens that were tired of the authoritative government that was instituting pretty much two-tier policing, with Muslims in the UK having different rights, what it seemed like, as compared to UK citizens. People were seen being arrested, with police actively coming through in the middle of the night to arrest them for memes or posts. And as recently, we had 2 women that have gotten memed and turned into Wojaks, that their daughter, I believe it was, their child, were looking at unauthorized posts on social media. They needed to get the cell phone, and if they wouldn't hand it over, they would be getting arrested for that. And that's incredible to hear. This is the UK. This was at once one of the bastions of democracy and civility in the world, is now taking an authoritative step. So, off the cusp of large demonstrations and addressing down by Donald Trump in the UN speech, it makes perfect sense why this is now being instituted, and it seems hastily so. They weren't really prepared. We just got a random announcement that it will now be mandated for British citizens to have digital ID, and you cannot work without this digital ID. In order to get a job, you must have digital ID. What makes this scary is that the conspiracy theorists turned out to be true. All the conspiracy theorists that were talking about, you must not accept digital ID. You must be very careful with these kind of mandates in terms of security. They said that the problem that they were going to solve with digital ID was all these people coming into the UK that can't be tracked, which the UK is letting in and paying for these people to come and housing them and giving them these so-called jobs that they're not supposed to have. So the UK creates a problem and then solves it with digital ID, which is a mass form of surveillance state where everybody can be tracked, and any opinions that are against, state-sponsored narratives will be quickly quashed and deplatformed, debanked, depersoned from the internet right away. This is an incredible surveillance maneuver that they've just instituted, deeply unpopular by the people in the UK. And it remains to be seen just how far they will take this. Is the pushback going to be high enough, strong enough that we will get a government walkback for British citizens? It remains to be seen. But what this does say for the future is that if it's being tested in a country like the UK, the rest of the EU is coming, and America will not be far behind. This is the issue here. We're watching in real time an authoritarian power grab inside the United Kingdom. On the heels of those massive protests, they're losing control. This is akin to the flailing beast. Shortly after the killing blow has been delivered, the technocratic elite, or at least the old guard, is rapidly losing power, and rapidly so. The narrative is no longer controllable on social media. Honestly, we owe Musk a great deal of gratitude for buying Twitter and turning it into X. I think that was one of the pivotal moments we're going to look back historically that has altered the presidential race in the United States, that has altered free speech on the internet, and has given way to this so-called right-wing rise or populist rise, and or I should say a pushback on woke culture and everything the left stood for. Without that, I think we would be in incredible trouble right now. I think the left would have been in power. I think we would have been under the thumb and censorship of these big tech companies at the behest of the governments, which we have found out. We'll discuss today, too. We have 3 stories that I'd like to discuss with you guys today, and then we'll react to some content, some random stuff. But it has been found out through some government probes that Biden did indeed, or at least the Biden administration, directly pressure YouTube and other social media companies, which we knew from the Twitter files, but now we have from YouTube's own lawyers that they removed thousands, if not tens of thousands, of videos in regards to COVID, the election interference, whatever it went by different names, and at the behest of the Biden administration, whether or not the video was true. Quite a few people have been banned because they talked about COVID. I got deeply affected by that because that was during the era when I was coming up on YouTube, and we did cover COVID stuff and got blacklisted for it directly. Had to start a whole new channel, which is why Legion of Men actually even exists, is because the main channel we were working on, we were covering COVID and trans issues, and those were a no-no back in the day, and you got essentially either completely deplatformed or shadow banned into the nether realm. So here we are. And now YouTube has just admitted that they were indeed on the behest of the government doing that. This is the elite losing their grip on power, you guys. This is the flailing beast with digital ID trying to grab what it can, whatever's left of the power it used to have. This is why they instituted it so sloppily, so suddenly, and at such an unpopular moment. This wasn't even done as a option. You can opt in. If you'd like it, it's not mandatory. It means nothing. Hey, if you want for convenience to have a digital ID, we'll make it really easy for you for, certain aspects of society, maybe travel, maybe getting a job, maybe collecting your pension, maybe whatever it is, right? It's completely optional. And then you reach a critical mass in society of so many people would opt into digital ID naturally that's when you then say you mandate it. They mandated it today. Today, the story says, today you must get digital ID in the UK if you want the right to work. Essentially, the right to earn money, the right to feed your family, or else you will starve to death. That's crazy. This is where we are right now in 2025. All the conspiracy theories are true. We are indeed headed toward dark times, and we'll see what kind of pushback we get. But anyways, that's kind of the story with the developing story with the digital ID in the UK. Kind of we'll see where that ends up being. There's also massive demonstrations probably planned in regards to countering that. There's also discussions EU-wide about digital ID in multiple countries. So, we'll see what the British people are willing to put up with, and at what point will they say enough is enough. For now, it seems like the British people have a high pain tolerance for their rights being taken from them. Yeah, we'll see. It's a scary world. It is. But anyways, one of the main stories that I saw, well, there's a couple of them. It's what this is actually titled about. And the American dream now costs $5 million. $5 million. And then you have the bizarre ICE shooting in Dallas, and we'll cover that one too. I had a whole bunch of notes taken on that. And of course, we'll get into after that. I think the Google stuff, yeah, we'll finish off with that and then look at some videos and kind of chill out on the stream, hang out with the chat. But $5 million, you guys. That's what it costs to get the American dream. That probably cost not even $1 million, even just a few decades ago. So Investopedia, I believe it was, just updated their report. And the American dream confirmed is up to 5 millis now. And that was from the 4.4 number that they quoted last year. So last year was 4.4 million. That means we've increased $600,000 in just 1 year. In 1 year alone, you have to make $600,000 more. And I mean, it's beyond shocking. It seems like a scam today. And I wanted to ask, out of curiosity, how many of you in the chat think that you will own a home, say in the next 5 years? 5 years. How many of you think you will have one? Yes or no in the chat. Just say yes or no if you think you will own a home in the next 5 years. And I'm going to assume that we're going to see a bunch of no's. Yeah, hell no's. For the dudes that don't own a house, because if you already own one, obviously it doesn't matter. But if you're house shopping now, clearly, just answer yes or no. A couple, it's a bit mixed, but okay. Yeah. So I want to tell you guys a story about what this actually means in real numbers, because 5 million sounds insane. But until you start to really break them down and understand the context, it's going to hit a lot different. So to break this down, my uncle essentially bought his house in 95. He was 28 years old. He was working at a factory making like 35 grand a year, maybe, on a single income. His wife stayed home with the kids, right? And he bought a 3 fucking bedroom house for probably 85 G's, somewhere in that ballpark, with 5% down payment. So that's something like what? For a little over $4,000 for your down payment. And that's all you really needed to save. And your mortgage would be something like what, $600 at that point? That's it. That same house today in the same market that we have today, I looked it up, is $385. We're touching on $400,000. So you would need today for the same house, $77,000 for a down payment if you want to avoid the PMI. Otherwise, you're going to pay the mortgage insurance on top of your actual mortgage. And the monthly payment at today's rates is pushing $3,000 a month. $3,000 a month. So you need to make something like $120,000 a year minimum to afford what a factory worker bought on $35,000 in the 90s. Isn't that wild? And what's insane is that most of the chat knows that that same factory job from the 90s doesn't exist anymore. And even if that same factory job still exists today, what are they paying? 18 bucks, 20 if you're lucky. So that's what? We're talking you're making 40 grand a year before taxes. So basically you're making what my uncle made 30 years ago, except everything cost you 4 times as much. $5 million. $5 million. That's what they're calculating for the full American dream. The package, right? The house, the retirement, 2 kids, going to college, right? A wedding, new car. I believe they said it's every couple of years, which is already fucking 10 years, I think it was. 1 new car every 10 years, which is fucking ridiculous. Annual vacations and pet ownership. Like it's some fucking, a dog is now a luxury. Some elite financial achievement. Guys, this was the old American dream, and you could get that with $35,000 a year. The retirement portion alone on the new figures is $1.6 million. Brother, the average American after a lifetime of work has $134,000 saved for retirement. You understand? The other half of Americans have zero, not a penny to their name. We're in fantasy land with these numbers. Do you understand? What are you talking about? $5 million American dream. Most of these people will not earn $5 million in their entire lifetime, let alone save for that. In order for you to be able to retire $1.6 million, do people even earn $1.6 million for the retirement portion alone? Do you not see how many old people still work today? Still Walmart greeters at Costco, basic jobs that should be for young people. You have old people doing them because they have to work until they're dead. And this future number, by the way, it's 5 million today. For those of us that are young, if you're a 20-year-old man, what does this number look like for you when you're ready for retirement? What does the American dream look like 5 years, 10 years from now? We've raised $600,000. That was the increase from last year for the American dream. What does it look like 10, 20 years from now? Is the American dream going to cost $10 million? What does that mean for the currency debasement, the value of the dollar? It's lost 10% this year alone. The housing market is the most unaffordable. I saw this headline. This year, it is the most unaffordable housing market in the history of the United States. Can you imagine? Can you imagine that we will be in an era where the American dream can reach 10 plus million? 8, 9 figures, bro. And you're telling the average American to save their way into retirement. That's crazy to me. Where is our dollar going? Stupendous. So when Gen Z tells you that they feel like they have no way out and dating is shit. And by the way, let's talk about dating because it's connected to the economy. And in this economy, it's absolutely shit. And it gets really dark because everyone wants to blame, a million other things, right? And they'll say, feminism, all this shit. It all starts with financial enslavement, right? Forget feminism. Forget the leftists. Forget whatever other weird culture war that's probably going to be popular by fucking tomorrow. It doesn't matter. Okay. It's always been about the money. You cannot afford a family. This is for men strictly. I'm not talking about the women. Okay. You're a 28-year-old guy today, same age as my uncle when he bought his house. But instead, think about this. You're making $65K if you're lucky. And after taxes, we're talking what? You're left over with $48K take home. So you rent for a shitty one bedroom is probably $2,000 is what you're paying minimum, unless you want to live an hour away from work. So, okay. So that's $24,000 a year gone immediately. Then you have your student loans. So let's just say, we'll be generous and tell you that they're about $500 a month, right? Because you believe the lie about college like we all did. That's another $6,000 gone from your check. Now your car payment and insurance, we'll say that averages out to what, $600? Everything's expensive now. Groceries for $400 probably because, eggs cost as much as fucking gold. And so what are you left with at the end of the year? Maybe, let's just say monthly, $500 out of your paycheck. If you never do anything at all, and we just got the basics taken care of. And now try dating with that budget. I'm seeing comments on prior videos all the time that, women want equality, but expect men to pay. Yeah, it's true. It's a fucking mess. Let's be real, though, about what's happening here. The entire social contract is broken. It's not just women. Women are still operating on that traditional mindset with those traditional expectations, but they're living in the modern economy. And men are expected to be traditional and be providers and shit on salaries that can't provide shit. Do you understand? If a decent date, and we're talking decent now, costs $150 minimum for dinner and drinks, maybe some activity, maybe. And then you have to compete with guys who are either lying about being millionaires on dating apps, just porking chicks left and right, or legitimately are actually rich and they're just treating dating like a fucking buffet. You're shooting fish in a barrel. Shit is a video game for these guys. So they're just running through these chicks left and right because they can afford to. And what can the average guy offer in this scenario? The truth is not much. Not much. And some guys in the chat will be like, we hear this cringy stuff too. Just improve yourself, bro. Right? But men probably are wondering all the time, improve myself for what? To compete for a woman who's been through an entire fucking roster while I was grinding my ass off for a promotion that probably gave me 3% while inflation was at 8%. So I'm at a net loss. She's seen miles of dick. If you measure how many schlongs that she's taken and lay them out on a street, the measurement would probably be a mile. Kid's got a name. It's called the 1,000 cock stare. The dating market is fucking cooked, boys. It really is. Women would literally rather share a rich man, quote, a high value man, whatever the fuck that even means, exclusively share only that dude, than date a normal dude. They consider him a brokey. And if you look at this from the perspective of a woman, you have to get it. It's like a value proposition. An average dude who can't afford a house, can't support a family, can't even take a fucking real vacation. What is there to do with that guy as a woman? You might as well share dick from the rich guy. Think about it. We're taking millionaire schlongs because that comes with a lifestyle, or I could take that poor penis over there, but he'll treat me right. What do you think a woman's what is she gonna pick? You live once, bro. YOLO. They're thinking it. Well, I'll be Miss Wednesday. It's fine. At least I get to be on a boat. I mean, poor schlong over here, we're going to be eating ramen noodles and watching him play fucking video games. I'll pass on that. Think about it. So from their perspective, I understand why the game is wired the way it is. They've always been this way. It's just the economics have become so tilted in the favor of the top percentile that there's nothing even at the bottom for you at all to get. So my uncle, this is the same guy with the same house, got married at 23. His wife was 21. They had their first kid at like 24, bought the fucking house at 28, had 3 kids total. Took all those family vacations every summer to the lakes, mountains, retired at 60 with a full fucking pension. And this wasn't exceptional, you guys. This was just normal. This was normal. This is what you did. You were a factory worker. You did the minimum. You showed up to work and you weren't a complete fuck up. Congratulations. That was like the boomer essentially living right there. Today, if you think about it, the average college graduate will earn, and these numbers were quoted as 2.8 million their entire lifetime. So somebody explain the math here to me. How do you afford a $5 million dream on 2.8 million lifetime earnings? Does this make any fucking sense? It's mathematically impossible. And 70% of Americans, they polled them in that same article, I believe, they said that they were optimistic. 70% are optimistic about achieving these milestones, according to the same study. They're either terrible at math or fucking retarded. You will wake up one day and own nothing, probably by 2030. You got a good 4 fucking years in you to get out before you're trapped for good. Don't you remember? Look, dude, the universities, we're already showing signs of the collapse, right? The university, 67% of Northeastern from the last stream was foreigners. NYU has like 27,000, if not 30 more, 30 plus thousand international students. These people are paying full price and then some. Americans are going to start taking out loans. They're already taking out loans that they'll never be able to pay back for degrees that won't get them jobs, because those jobs are going to go to the H-1B workers who are going to take half of what you demand as an American. But at least the universities stay afloat, right? That Chinese money, you tired of winning? This is what Gen Z and Gen Alpha has to look for. That shit's... And the boomers will tell you, hey, you guys need to have kids. You guys are too much degens. Enough with the fucking lattes. Enough with the avocado toast. Brother, you had to show up with half your fucking brain missing and put pieces together on the assembly line, and you had a fucking good wage. You also had a pension ready for you, and you had a good union that made sure you got paid. We had a simple fucking contract, you guys. Men work, women nurture, and together you build something. It was simple. But now both people have to work, and you still can't afford anything. Women don't want to nurture today because, they got brainwashed into thinking it's fucking oppression. Men can't provide because the economy's rigged against them. It's fucking true to say that. And everyone is miserable and fucking alone and swiping endlessly on dating apps, watching porn, or has the SSRI look that most women do. Just the fucking dead eyes. It's not even a 1,000 cock stare anymore. It's like the pharmaceutical stare. And we're pretending that this is progress in modern society today. Stupendous. The American dream probably died somewhere in the 90s, if not earlier than that. And now we're just pretending it's on fucking life support. And we're pretending we're propping it up in our minds somehow that it's still alive while everything around us gets worse and worse. Prices go up, wages are fucking flat. And we're told to be grateful for the opportunity to compete for scraps, you fucking pleb. Here's your bug sandwich. Thank you. Come again. Make me millions. Yeah, it's a black pill. Type some black pill in the chat. It really is. It's a bit of a black pill. But, welcome to the reality, bro. It is what it is. Yeah, boomers. Yeah, it's true. Boomers had to come to work with half their brains. There was no thinking. Clock in, assemble bullshit, clock out, go home. Get a blowy from your wife. Yeah, you met her when she was still a virgin. Cool story. She gave you 2 to 3 kids. She cooks for you. What do you get today? Fucking weird, bro. You get a bull dyke with insane color hair that looks like the most poisonous frog in the Amazon. All right. Tells you why you're a predator something about toxic masculinity while she's fucking doping herself up on pharmacologicals. Okay. And then somehow convinces your kids to chop off body parts because you're in the wrong body. No, bitch, your brain's broken. The fuck? Let's get to some of these super chats. We'll move on to the next part.
Dylan Show, trademark emoji, $4.99. After visited Japan, Thailand plus fills, I've learned everything in the West is a lie. Americans are sick, angry people.
Well, you don't have much longer in the Philippines either, brother. That's the unfortunate part. The degeneracy has spread worldwide. You can thank the mobile phone for that.
MLJL, $5. As an autistic guy, how do I weed out gold diggers overseas? I have money and I'm looking to move to Peru since I have family there.
No, there is no way, dude. They're all gold diggers at a certain extent. You're never going to find the Disney mentality.
Semperi loaded $9.99.
Ever.
8 years ago I stopped dating, found land with a crappy house for $30K, got a cheap Hyundai Accent for $9K cash, and wiped out all consumer debt by hunkering down and living bare minimum. This
Good
is
shit.
the way.
Good shit. Look, dude, for the guy before, too, you guys have to understand. So, I don't know where Red Pill went wrong. Somehow, men stopped understanding a basic fact that women date based on what you could provide. And somehow, like, she's got to love me for me. I don't know where it's part of the passport bro mentality twisted some people's minds. Because you got these old boomers that believe in this true love bullshit. Bro, your Asian chick is only fucking you because your pension is higher, 10x the salary of a hardworking Filipino. No, she doesn't like your dick. No, it's not true love, you fucking idiot. She's 30 years younger than you. You think you went over there and found true love? And then somehow, like the narrative changed into like, if I go overseas, I'm going to meet a tight little Asian chick that's going to really love me. You got missing fucking teeth. You got a pot belly. You got corns on your fucking feet. You're disgusting, bro. Just because you got a pension, yes, you'll swing and you'll bat a better average, but it's still low quality. Women are still the same. The hardware is the same. The software is slightly different. We're on like version 4.5 over here in the West, and you went back in time a little bit and you got version 3.8. Calm down, bro. Still the same shit. The difference is you're bailing them out of poverty. Let's be fucking real here with what these guys are doing. The others are just going out there straight up buying fucking prostitutes. Let's be honest. G, you got 4 chicks on your arm, but you paid for every single one of them. Yeah, $10 each. Congratulations, bro. Big dick swinging over here. How many of these motherfuckers are actually in the same country for a year or longer? How many of them are actually married? How many of them actually have decent women? Got fucking bar girls and shit left and right on these dudes' arms and pros talking about this is the way. I left the degenerate West to pay some whore to sleep with me. I got my live-in maid and I'm also smashing. Are you dumb? The fuck? So when you're asking me shit like how do I stop gold diggers, you're not supposed to stop gold diggers. G, you're supposed to show you got gold and get the shiniest toy you can. That's the point. The point of busting your ass is you get the youngest, most beautiful, most submissive, nice woman that wants to have your babies. You're going to pay for it. Everyone pays for it. Literally. Nobody, not on this whole fucking planet, never pays for it. You pay with it either hard cash or time. Either way, it costs you money. Dudes are over here talking about true love. She's got to love me in a Bentley and on the back of the bus. What are you, 50 Cent? Shut up, stupid. It's always been with preconditions. You are valueless otherwise. When the fuck did Red Pill turn into some soy blue pill shit? I want to go find real love. She's going to love me for me. Idiot. Not you. Super chatted, but the dudes that think that way.
Eduardo Teixeira, $23.35.
Thanks,
Watch
bro.
your overlord talking about the economy. I broke up laughing. I love Larry Fink, but he doesn't live in reality. Search on YouTube, Larry Fink, from $100 million loss to building BlackRock.
Mm. Jesus. Someone say you're going to make me cry. No, dude, don't cry at all. That's power. I'm teaching you guys straight. This is real power here. When you understand that your looks aren't as important, that money is really what matters, status, being somebody in society, shit like that, that women care about a man who can provide and provision, you'll stop worrying about your little fucking missing tooth, your little balding ass hair that you got right here. You got that shit where you're bald all the way around like this. You got the little fucking twirly hair up there and shit. Fucking Homer Simpson. None of that shit matters, bro. Do you know how many older dudes are getting married and pumping these chicks with kids and getting what they want because they got some fucking money? I keep telling you guys that's a great equalizer. Everybody here is worried about, look, I got abs, I'm just six pack. Does it help? Sure. You get a higher quality woman for less resistance. Duh. Lift. Step one, lift. Not even for a woman, period. Lift for you, bro. You need your mind to be sharp. You need your body to carry you forward into the future. You don't want to be some fucking old piece of shit pumping pills in you to survive day to day. You got to have a strong body to protect your family. That's what we're saying. But make some money. Get your finances in order. You will be fine. If you're ugly, you need more money. It's that simple. Hey, bro, the formula is there. It's done. If you're extremely attractive and you're a fucking male specimen, you could be damn near broke. It's great. The game's not fair, but it's a spectrum and you get to play on it. If a woman's born ugly, she's done for. Fuck, bro. Good job. Who's going to give you $1 million to transform your face? Nobody. You're a man. You got moves to make. You're not checkmated out the game ever until you decide to quit. That's what the game is. Yeah, if you're ugly, you need more money, bitch. Stop crying. Get paid. The fuck? It's that simple. Dudes are over here like, but I want love. I want love. The romantic side of men, I want love. I want her to love me. No, bitch, you want respect. That's what you want. You want your woman to respect you above all else. When the respect is gone, the love is gone. And then your woman is smashing the pool boy. A lot of these dudes get no respect from their women. That's the issue here.
$0.5. I had ChatGPT help me with the channel. Subject matter, the dangers of AI. It created tons of content and deleted everything the next day. Creepy.
That's weird. Mine's never done that.
MLJL, $5. ChatGPT versus Gemini versus Grok versus Claude for building a business?
You can't go wrong with the frontier models, any of them, honestly. I prefer Grok for now. Grok or Claude. Love is just hormone and it fades. Yeah. Look, you guys really want to know what it takes, dude. And what you really should look for. You need to watch. Let me pause super chats in case I get interrupted. You need to watch a woman for how she handles stress, unexpected things happening, being under pressure, and her natural disposition in these situations. And I don't mean like what decision she makes, but how does she literally, what's her disposition, how she handles this stuff. You got to think of it like this. One day you will have kids together. One day something's going to happen in the future that causes you a ton of stress, whether it comes from money or children or illness or whatever it is. How you watch her handle things in the, let's say you've been dating for 4 months. How you watch her deal with pressure and stress is how she's going to deal when the kids are acting up, when you two are dealing with your own issues. Does she handle it with poise and grace and femininity, or is she a loose cannon? Does she get angry? Does she lose control? Is she overtly emotional to the point where it's a red flag and actually pulling her down and she's regressing? She doesn't make progress. Is she self-aware in that sense, right? Do you have a woman that can think and take direction from you? This is what you should be looking for. I know guys are asking, the The first thing a guy wants to know, what's your body count? Bro, even if her body count's 0 and she's an emotional tard and loses her cool and is constantly nitpicking, I wouldn't want that girl. If you give me a girl that has a body count of, say, 20, but she's extremely submissive, if she's extremely well coachable, if she wants children, if she wants, then I would, if those were my two choices, then I would pick that one because she listens. She's going to have my kids. She is very feminine, can cook, can clean, can do all this shit. That's just an example. You guys are meeting some chicks that, obviously it's hard to get a virgin today, but let's just say you meet a chick that has a body count of 1, 5, 6, 8, whatever the fuck it is. And you're thinking like, cool, no problems there. 1, not much damage. The 1 could be far more damage than the one with 5 or 8. You understand? Have you seen her deal with stress in her life? Have you seen her deal with like bad news, deadlines, something, and watch how she reacts? Can she handle that? Can she take direction? If you give her input, does she actually listen, adjust behavior, and correct course? That's what matters to your relationship lasting long term. Yeah. That's true. Okay, we'll play one more and then we'll get into the next song.
$6.55. Regardless of the pill color, women will always play the game. Hence the tradcon fakes right now. Keep your eyes wide open, men.
True. You sound like a sexist to the gay fucks.
Zane $4.99. We are being ruled by a bunch of Satanists, psychopath, but good will eventually win no matter what. Believe in God.
Thank you, brother.
Eric Z $4.99. Hey Bo, I just wanna say you inspired me a lot to be a better man for myself and towards my loved ones. I wanna say thank you. Bo bless you and her family.
God bless you as well, bro. Thank you. Appreciate you. Someone said, will you react anymore to Courtney Ryan? I don't know. I haven't had her come up on my recommended in a long time. Don't know what she's even doing. So, or it's complicated. I haven't seen any of them. I don't know. The YouTube algorithm has changed completely, to be honest. So, but anyways, let's move on to the next story. I should have covered this earlier. It's been a couple of days, but information keeps coming out. It's kind of weird. The ICE shooting that happened a few days ago. Nothing really makes sense about that. I mean, okay, so this one might piss people off, but all right, I'll say it anyways. Let's think critically about the whole, ICE shooting. Not much of that story makes sense. So, okay, we got another leftist shooting, and find out he's like radical. He's like similar, kind of like the dude that took out Charlie Kirk, but this time it happened at an ICE facility, and the details are super bizarre. Okay. His name was Joshua Jan, some 29-year-old, positions himself on top of a rooftop, right, near the Dallas ICE facility a couple of days ago, starts shooting. And it gets really fucking weird because he doesn't shoot any ICE agents, doesn't shoot staff. He shoots detained immigrants, the people that are being held there, right? Kills one of them, I think, last I looked, critically wounds the other two. One of them was a Mexican national, if I have this correct. And then he immediately offed himself. And then they find bullets immediately with anti-ICE written on them in like a pen or some like marker or something. Like the dude sat there, copycat, inscribed some political messages on his ammo, just like the Tyler Robinson shooter that had the anti-fascist inscription on there. And we're supposed to just accept this at face value. By the way, this is the same, the same FBI who like couldn't find Robinson, who like was begging for help. Leadership was nowhere to be seen. Everything looked like shit. Where's this so-called surveillance state that we're under? You can't find any information. It took them forever to get anything basic about the Discord and all that stuff. Okay. Weird, right? Sounds weird. I don't know. This whole story kind of, it was like my spider senses were tingling with this one. You know, and I'm reading all these updates on X and I'm thinking like, well, this is a little too on the nose, dude. We're getting like something's off. We're getting record information, you know. Thinking like false flags, psyops. Everybody in the chat's already like fucking psyops, false flags and shit. It sounds suspect. It does. Why shoot immigrants if you're anti-ICE? That's what I was thinking. You know, if you hate ICE that much and you're willing to die for it, why shoot the victims of the system that you're opposing? It's like protesting police brutality by attacking prisoners or something, dude. It makes no sense. It's backwards. Unless, I don't know, maybe he's a shit shot. Let's just say that. Let's just say the narrative sticks. He's a shit shot. You know, maybe he was aiming for agents and he missed. But from a rooftop with a rifle, it's not like he was shooting with a pistol or something. And within hours, they've got this guy's entire fucking history. You know, he voted in the 2020 Democratic primary. His Facebook is full of communist imagery. Literally, he has like some meme with a hammer and sickle in his profile, and the caption read, what was it? Something like "Glorious Exposition Comrade," with like a dude smiling with a, you know, commie hat on. He had previous arrests for selling weed, just like me, so we're similar in that sense. And like Antifa aesthetic everywhere on his profile. And the FBI, you know, releases perfect photos of the inscribed bullets, like over there right in the rain, the same day. When has evidence ever been released that quickly? So I don't know. That just stood out weird to me. Okay, so let's assume it's a copycat. He's inspired by the killing prior. And the evidence does point to, let's say, a sloppy attempt, you know, full of emotions. The guy didn't have a plan, clearly. He didn't seem trained at all. He's just running off of fumes, pure leftist propaganda. Thought he'd be a hero. I guess that would be what the story was in his mind. He grabs a rifle and then he's perched up on a roof, and his butthole got so tight after squeezing a few rounds, you know, that he then realized he was in a world of shit. And then after splattering the brains of immigrants, decides to off himself in an emotional panic. Isn't that weird? Weird. Just saying, weird. A little weird. And also tragic, you know, because the amount of copycats that are about to start to come down the pipeline from all the mainstream media, not turning down any of the rhetoric, right? And anytime soon, it looks like, because they were already, I had an NBC News clip, I don't even know where it is, that they were trying to act up until the last minute, like, oh, look, it's MAGA, it's not a leftist. No, we don't know what these inscriptions on the bullets mean. Come on. Weird. A little weird. So, and ironically, although the rhetoric is like jumping at an all-time high with leftist media, why don't they report that February deportations under Trump were actually lower than Biden's during his term in February? And we're spending $150 billion on this so-called enforcement, but this shit is actually theater because the numbers are worse than Biden. But let's pretend we're serious about immigration. And then we're also importing, remember on the last stream, 600,000 Chinese potential CCP spies. And on top of that, we're fast-tracking Indian green cards. Are we really serious about immigration? So they're getting up in a tizzy on the left over what, actually? Think about it. So anyways, timing is always a bit too perfect with these things. You know, like we just found out, what we were talking about earlier, the Google censoring people. The H-1B fee turned out to be meaningless, if we're honest. The American dream is now $5 million. And suddenly we get this incident that has everybody arguing about gun control and shit like that, and Antifa, instead of talking the core problems of the country, which is, you know, our government's endless propensity to spend our tax dollars on problems that don't help Americans. So we're sending, well, apparently we're sending, because America first, so we're going to send Argentina a 20 billion credit lifeline because the libertarian policies of Milei don't seem to be working. So let's bail out Argentina. Sounds very America first. You know, this is the most unaffordable housing market in history, but we got 20 billion for Argentina. Okay. Okay. I don't know. I don't know what to make of this. You know, false flags in the chat. If you think it's a false flag, or if you think it was just a crazy leftist, give me a one. Is right leftist. If you think it was a leftist, I want to see. Do you think it's a leftist or false flag? And I'm curious, or genuine. It's genuine, right? I don't even know what to make of these copycat killers anymore. And it's this is like the third or the fourth leftist that has done real violence in public in like the last couple of weeks, right? We had the Charlie Kirk one. I think the ABC station shooting, that was a leftist also. Then some dude tried to bomb a Fox News van. Pattern's kind of similar. So radical leftist does violence. The media on the left downplays it. You know, the rhetoric on the right needs to tone down. It's like, show me examples of the right doing this. They had a vigil for Charlie Kirk. It was peaceful. No protests, no cities burning down, no police cars overturned. What rhetoric? What are you talking about? But if anything, if a right-leaning public tragedy happens, you'll get wall-to-wall coverage for months. We won't stop hearing about it. But from a leftist, oh yeah, they like bury that shit under the rug. If not celebrate it, you know, like Luigi Mangione, they're celebrating that shit. So now you got the FBI and Kristi Noem saying like this is targeted violence, you know, which is their way of saying terrorism. But you can't really say that because it's the left. So, and J.D. Vance was talking about, oh, this is like, you know, all the attacks on law enforcement, they need to stop. And literally, the dude shot immigrants, you know, and we're supposed to pretend it's about protecting ICE agents. Huh? You tell people for years that ICE agents are basically Nazis, that the detention centers are concentration camps. And then you act surprised when some drugged out commie decides to be a hero and stop the fascists, except he's too coked up on his own propaganda to, you know, actually fire properly, and he shoots the wrong fucking people. Or maybe that was the point. I don't even know anymore. What's in these people's minds? What do I know? Right? By next week, nobody will remember this fucking guy. Nobody will remember this has even happened. You got 3 dead immigrants, and you know, they'll be forgotten, and then we'll be moving on to the next crisis from the next nut job. You know, while nothing actually fucking changes in this country, but you know, at least he wrote anti-ICE on his bullets, so we know who to blame and what team he was on. Right? Is that the messaging here? Is this how divided we fall at the bottom, while the people at the top keep grabbing power? You know, how many more attacks before we admit that there's a pattern here? Even on the left, for example, that there's actual violent, like radical left wing that's been activated by what could you say, the mainstream media rhetoric? Okay. But we won't have that conversation. Nobody's saying that out loud because it's inconvenient to the narrative. And the Democrats, they completely lost control of their base. And the Republicans are too fucking limp to do anything unless it, you know, involves sending billions to Israel. So we're captured. What do we do? I don't know. Speaking of the government, by the way, doing shady shit, let's just talk about what Google admitted, and we'll get into some of the reaction stuff and more of the super chats. So Google finally confessed officially, by the way. We were right all along. Turns out conspiracy theorists were right again, yet again. And this one got me personally, obviously, because, you know, I lived through this. I actually lost money from this shit and lost reach. Fuck, I lost a lot, actually, years of work. And now they're admitting what, you know, we were right about all along. So Google testified to Congress recently that I think it was Daniel Donovan was his name, their attorney. Straight up, he finally admitted that, yeah, the Biden administration pressured YouTube to remove the content that, get this, didn't violate policies. They permanently banned channels because the White House told them to. Not because they broke the rules, not because, you know, only because the government wanted them to be silenced, actually. So you didn't even break the rules, you just opened your mouth. So I need you to understand what this means. During the pandemic, when we were all trying to figure out what the hell was going on, what was true and what wasn't, the people that were making the decisions about your health, your kids, your jobs, all that stuff, the government was secretly directing the biggest information platform on the planet to hide viewpoints. And Google just went along with it. No questions asked. That was it. I personally had videos that were demonetized for citing peer-reviewed studies about natural immunity, got strikes for questioning the mask efficacy, using, CDC's own data. Got shadow banned. I remember, I'll never forget this one specifically, for showing the UK Health Service data about vaccinated versus unvaccinated, infection rates, stuff like that. The official published data. And then it was called medical misinformation because it might cause vaccine hesitancy. They literally banned doctors, you guys, who questioned the child vaccine mandates. They literally silenced journalists that covered the election irregularities because you're spreading misinformation, or people sharing adverse reactions. I remember people were getting banned early on that were getting vaccine injured and we're talking about issues right after getting a booster, banned them all. Debates about lockdown, banned, and how effective that was for everybody. Anything that challenged the narrative, even just a little bit, even if it was factually accurate, and if you cited official sources, no less, if you just asked a question, banned. And now they're offering some sort of reinstatement process, right? Like, oh, we legally, illegally censored you at the government's request, destroyed your income, ruined years of work, but here you can fill out a little form and maybe we'll get you your channel back. Aren't we generous, you guys? Aren't we? Fuck off with that. Seriously, YouTube, fuck off. Okay, I think I saw, it was Alex Jones, Nick Fuentes. They both opened up a channel. They tried to. And within 12 hours, they both got terminated. And YouTube's response was, I remember reading it, that they were building a system, some pilot program that would allow previously banned creators to come back under specific criteria. I shit you not. Basically bullshit corpo speak for not happening. So does anyone in chat remember the Twitter files? Yeah, they proved all of this already. But this is bigger because now we got Google to actually admit under oath that it's YouTube, their primary way that most people get information. They're taking direct orders from the government about what we're allowed to see and say. Remember when they called everyone conspiracy theorists for saying this kind of shit online a few years ago? That we were pointing out the censorship and itself got censored. Just pointing out that there was censoring shit got you banned. They literally banned people. I remember on X, on Twitter at the time, for saying like, hey, you're censoring, banned. Facebook admitted the same thing. Zuckerberg said, yeah, dude, the Biden administration like fucking told us you can't have this on your platform, delete it. Biden literally tried to create a ministry of truth and then they backed down. Remember how unpopular that was? They try to control all misinformation, disinformation, and malinformation. What the fuck does that even mean? They're just euphemisms for telling the truth with that administration, apparently. And if you look at the mainstream media, this is the worst part of this all. Nothing, no coverage, nothing, silence. Has anybody covered this shit from CNN, MSNBC? Fuck, even Fox News barely touching it. If it's even on, I haven't even looked. Because they're all complicit, all of them. They all participated in this. And nothing's going to happen, you guys. Nobody's going to jail. There's no massive fines. There's no investigations. The CEOs, they're not going to get grilled on live TV. All this is just going to get swept under the rug. It tells me the same thing. My spider sense tingling telling you Team Red is planning to use similar tools or the same tools for themselves. Why would the government let this kind of power go to waste? This is a good photo op of showing you how shitty Biden was, but you don't think in behind the scenes they'll pull the same levers in their direction? I mean, Jim Jordan's committee is the one that was exposing this, but where's the accountability down the line? Where are the consequences? The Biden administration violated the First Amendment rights of Americans on a massive scale, and they're just going to walk away? That's it. Nothing's going to happen. Google gets to say, oh, sorry. Let's just move on, though. And we're all supposed to be like, pretend this is normal somehow. Oh, thanks for apologizing. Yeah, First Amendment, don't worry about it. It's a cool story. Honestly, I don't even know what to say anymore. They just admitted to crimes and nothing happened. They literally destroyed people's livelihoods for wrongthink, and they're facing zero consequences. The conspiracy theorists, dude, they were all right again. Again, nobody cares, honestly, because everyone's too exhausted or outraged. We are getting back to back to back crazy news. You can't even keep up with half of this shit that's happening. This is literally what the First Amendment is supposed to prevent, the government controlling speech. But they found a loophole. Just pressure big tech to do your bidding, your dirty work, and then claim it was a private company the entire time and that was their decision. Except now we have proof that it wasn't, and still nothing happens. And they wonder why nobody trusts any institutions anymore. Can you imagine? Why would people, it's like, why do people believe crazy conspiracies? Why does everything feel broken? It's because the crazy conspiracies keep getting proven true. The government really was controlling what you could say online. Big tech really was collaborating with politicians to shape the reality around us. We were being gaslit for years, and then they finally admitted it. Black pills, again, black pills in the chat. And now we know. Now we have literal proof from a committee. But how do we know they're not going to do this again? Because they can and they will. Is there a moment here of clarity where we can point and go, you see, told you so, and here's the rail guards in place? We literally had an assault on our First Amendment, and the normies don't care. They're so broken and demoralized that, fucking Google can admit to shaping free speech, participating with the government. That's fascism. That's literal fascism right there. And then just shrug it off like, hey, what could you do, bro? I was compelled by the government. And we'll reinstate some channels, but not all of them, because we banned a couple of people that already tried to come back. This should be literally front page news, one of the biggest scandals in modern American history. And the fact that it got memory hold in real fucking time tells you everything you should know about who really runs this country. And hint, it's not the people you fucking voted for. My fucking blood pressure's about to rise just thinking about this shit. This is the land of the free. Second Amendment to defend the first. Nobody's even talking about this story. How, on a scale of 1 to 10, how fucked do you think this is? 1 to 10, give it to me. It's insane, dude. Fuck 11. I know it's depressing. Yeah, I know it's depressing. But if we're not going to talk about it, who is? We have to acknowledge what's happening. People are like, well, what's the solution? Well, first is bring it out into the light so we can disinfect it, bro. Because pretending everything's fine while the system around us is being literally destroyed is what's making things like this possible in the first place. This is how this country has to work now. We have to literally pull the rug up, sweep all the shit, and start to really clean it up. Because we've been kicking cans down the road. We've been sweeping shit under rugs for years. And then this is how we got here. Now we live in a world where the American dream's 5 fucking millies. Mathematically impossible for you to get it. You got violent radicals that are shooting wrong people because their buttholes are so tight on fucking leftist copium. Then you got big tech admitting to censoring the fucking shit out of us and literally violating First Amendment rights with the government's direction, no less, and zero consequence. And this is just a fucking Wednesday, right? Friday. This is a Friday in America, dude. Friday morning for everybody. Oh, yeah, cool story, bro. Oh, yeah, did you hear our First Amendment rights got trampled and like nobody did a fucking thing? Cool story, bro. Did you hear there was another mass shooting? Did you see Trump own this guy? Did you see? I'm sick of seeing, bro. I've seen so much shit. Did you see we got fucking digital ID in the UK? That's fucking crazy, bro. We got mass nationalist rallies. Places are getting ethnically cleansed in the Middle East. Did you see? I'm seeing it. I'm seeing a lot of it. So much so that it's like getting memory hold. I can't even remember half the crazy shit that's happening. We have to hold the Republicans' feet to the fire. Because if we don't get any arrests for this shit, if we don't get any fines, they'll do it again. And maybe not with Trump, But imagine in the future, whether it's some fucking Democrat or Republican, this opened a dangerous door, guys, for the people in government to do exactly what we don't want them to do behind closed doors. And this is like one of those doors that literally they don't want closed. What rail guards are they going to put in place for this to not be abused in the future? What makes this, or I should say, what makes us different from anyone else if this is what they'll do for our freedom of speech? Look at Britain, look at Germany. They have diversity cops literally coming to your door to arrest you because your kid looked at a fucking meme that they weren't authorized to look at. And if you don't give up the cell phone, you're going to jail. The fuck? There's a lot of potential for reoccurring abuse here, and it's a massive amount of it. And Americans should be fuming right now, and everybody should be talking about this right now. The previous president of the United States actively undermined the First Amendment through a loophole and got away with it. Are Republicans going to actually do something for once? I wouldn't hold my breath. I'm just saying. And this is precisely where you begin to understand that all of this is one big grand spectacle. It's a mirage, you see? Making a difference. Look. We had a committee. We found out things. Look. You shouldn't have done that. Slap on the wrist. Even if Republicans aren't the ones abusing this in the future, who say they won't? With some other nut job gets voted that we don't agree with. And can you trust the Democrats not to? That's all I'm saying. Literally all I'm saying. Just because our team's not abusing it now, who says they won't in the future? And what will happen if the other guys feel like abusing it? They're fucking nut jobs on the left. Hello? Insane. Anyway, let's get the super chats. Let's start some reactions.
Nathan $5, been with my GF for 3 years. She has 2 kids, but she's incredibly submissive and literally the most respectful woman I've met. Still deciding toe.
Nice.
Fresh Media $5, everyone better join the school community.
Hey, shout out to the community on school. Thanks, brother.
Maryland Guy 03264.99. Boomers sold us out, then turned around and made us feel like failures for not achieving the same milestones in life they did. Worst generation ever.
Basically. It's true to an extent. It's impossible to not be black-pilled after dating them enough. Women. Okay. All right, dude, let's get into a funny one. I'm ready. Let's lighten up the mood. Let's go. I got a funny one here that I found with Tate again. So they call it stage 5 black fatigue. Stage 5 in it, G. Okay. It's funny because we're having a lot of race conversations today, and it makes a lot of people uncomfortable. It's so funny. But I love these conversations, dude. They're real. Let's get into it. There's going to be a lot of butt hurts in the chat. Yeah.
Black fatigue. People are tired of black people. Every time you look up, some Negroes arguing about something.
Well, you know,
Derek Penny, that whole situation.
Oh yeah, that was incredible. That was incredible, and it's. I'll be honest. One of the things that's amazing to me, because I am American. I lived here till I was 8, and then I grew up in England, and then I moved all around the world. What's kind of amazing to me about the American consciousness is that they have this huge preposition with racism. And they seem to think this is a racist country. Like, you motherfuckers haven't been anywhere. Yeah. Because this is the least racist nation on the planet. You think America's racist? Let me tell you where's racist. You know the most racist place? Africa.
Oh yeah,
You ever been to Africa? You Hutu, you're Tutu, you're Boo-Boo. Like, they're fucking killing each other, they're having genocide. They all look the fucking same. They're pulling out machetes. Look at the Rwandan genocide. I couldn't even tell the two teams. They're running around fucking swinging blades. Bro, the whole world's fucking
them
racist.
niggas killing each other over nothing.
Over nothing. Hutu, Tutu, your nose shape.
They
I don't
got
know the
this
fuck.
huge continent. You got all these black people. You got all these resources.
All they do is kill.
And they're probably the poorest continent in the world.
Of course.
They have no leadership, and their culture just broken.
100%. And also, it's because Africa's rich that it's poor, which we'll talk about in a second. But America's the least racist place you find on the planet. You think China's not racist? You think Japan's not fucking racist? You think India's not racist with this caste system? You think Africa's not racist with this fucking genocides?
Right.
Tell them.
Everywhere, even when I moved to England, the amount of racism I dealt with for being American. Like, I was American, they're like, oh, yank, oh, dickhead, school shooter. But it's like, watch out. But the thing is, I think it's funny.
Yeah.
But these people can't take a fucking joke.
Right.
Like, I love when people, I have the most diverse friend group, and our friendships are based on racism. Like, it's funny. It's funny. Like, I know a white guy.
Yeah.
Who's loyal.
Right.
Fucking weird. But like, we make fun of each other all the time. Like, racism is hilarious amongst a friend group.
Right.
But in America, everyone's so sensitive to it. It's insane. And they believe they live in a racist country. It's like, you need to go basically anywhere else. Go anywhere else and you will see.
True. That's so true, dude. Americans they're living in such a bubble, especially when I try to tell Black Americans, be careful going to places like the Balkans. Be careful going to some more backward ass parts of, for example, Eastern Europe. Because the leftist progressive mentality isn't baked in there and the people are extremely tribal. And I try to tell them about the ethnic violence that exists in just the Balkans alone. Like, hey, it's not safe for other Balkans. Like, if you're from Croatia and you go to Belgrade in Serbia or something, they got problem because of the Balkan War. They hate each other. You have people that for millennia have been killing each other that look exactly the same, maybe speak with a slightly different accented dialect, and they're mortal enemies. And they're like, no, bro, they love us over there. And I'm like, yeah, until you step in the wrong, but it's kind of dangerous. Be careful. All I said was be careful. These people don't like outsiders in their countries. I've heard them talking to one another. I know what they're saying to one another when you're not present, right? So nobody's policing any speech or pretending to be nice or a nice smile because you're a foreigner and you're buying their shit or whatever. I know what they're saying behind, closed doors. What the real conversations are like. You're not wanted there. They're not nice to any outsiders. Forget your skin color. Any outsider from even the neighboring country, they don't like you. The Balkanization of the actual Balkans is proof that that's real. And it happens in other countries too. The Balkanization, like in the African, some of the republics there, just look at how they kill each other, just like Tate said. Some of the Asian countries that still have or had violence, but it's the same thing. Historically, look at other places. They don't look too different, guys. That's why I said be careful. But Americans live in such a bubble that they're like, they think the rest of the world is some utopia until you travel and see what real racism is. Until you see like overtly, you're going shopping and the security guard is actively following you around and looking at you dead in the face and they don't give a fuck. Literally like this. Just watching, you're like, damn, bro, what the fuck's this problem? By the time you get back to America, you're like, wow, it's actually really nice here. Racism is nothing like it is overseas. It's in your face. So I'm 100% in agreement with him. See, look at this. My Greek grandpa would shit talk about Romanian illegals. No offense, but no offense taken, dude. My father's side's Greek, so no offense taken. I'm part Greek in that sense. Literally from Sparta. Father's got Spartan DNA. So I'm just being real. I was trying to protect the brothers and then they turned on me. It's all good.
Mm-hmm. And what's interesting is actually the countries like Dubai, which I spent a lot of time in, the UAE, which is a super diverse country with 80% immigration. But the locals, the natives, they're above you. You can't fuck with a Gulf Arab.
That's
in
also
UAE.
true.
You can come and you can visit and you can buy a nice.
This is what I was talking about, two-tier citizenry and why we need it in the United States. I don't want to go on a mean tangent in this episode. Maybe I'll break it down in another one. But I do believe voting is not a right and it should be a privilege. And that privilege is earned by serving in the military or a civic kind of service. Think volunteering in the civil corps to build bridges, nursing, schooling, education, cleaning up the cities, stuff like that. We should absolutely have a mandatory civil or military service for 2 years. Everybody is conscripted, and then you get to vote by joining that if you choose to join. I mean, if it's mandatory, you're forced to anyways, but let's just say we'll start with it being an opt-in, and those that opt in will get the right to vote because they put in. And you get to learn skills for free. You will be housed, you will be fed, you'll get experience, right? And then you can go off to college and specialize in whatever aptitudes you may show during your civil or military training. And that gives us, that we have a stake in the system when we do that. We can mobilize our youth. This is the best system in the world, and we will go back to it one day. I guarantee you, because what we currently have, the conversations right now, since we're talking about like racial dynamics, there are two conversations that are really being had. It's the blood and soil ethnic nationalism on one side, and then you have the civic nationalism on the other. Okay, there's problems with both systems. Ethnic nationalism, or the blood and soil that people are kind of bringing up, like we must have our own people, we must be of the same ethnicity and crowd out everybody else. Well, the problem is, let's just use Europe as an example, like the Balkans. Eventually, even amongst, let's say for Europeans, we're going to start infighting and balkanizing because you're not white enough. You're not European enough. You're not really white. You are something else, mixed with something else. The same way you see tribal warfare in Africa. You're not one of us. Although we look the same. We are the same. We speak the same language for the most part. We even believe in the same God. Almost everything is the same. Historically, our bloodlines are close, but something, you're not real enough, something, your hair this, ethnically, you don't come from this area in the mountains here, you're not one of us. This is the problem with ethnic nationalism, is it leads to a fracturing eventually as people seek purity. You understand? This is why it falls on itself. This is why the Balkans have been held back so much, despite having a ton of people with a ton of potential. It remains far behind Western Europe because the people there treat each other like enemies amongst their neighbors. Yugoslavia is the perfect example of this. Once Yugoslavia broke up, and then they had the Balkan War there, and the violence between Serbs and Croats and Bosniaks and all that shit, they are practically, they hate each other. They hate each other more so much that, 100,000 immigrants will come into Bosnia or Serbia, and instead of focusing their sectarian or ethnic violence or whatever nationalism, instead of channeling their nationalism into their home country and getting rid of migrants that are taking the jobs, they have 20% unemployment rate with the youth. Instead of doing that, they will still fight each other. It's better than a Croat. It's better than a Serb. It's better than, are you fucking dumb? You're white. You have the same language. You are the same Slavic people. Yet you were conned by NATO to believe that you're somehow different. You got bombed, Belgrade. They bombed Belgrade. They chopped your country up into pieces. They left you divided in tatters, and now you're 4 or 5 different countries, and you have no bargaining rights. You have no power, and you have no fucking future. Do you know how powerful a state like Yugoslavia would? It could have rivaled Germany. It was as big. It had access to seaports. It had great resources, a ton of people living there population-wise, and it would have been one of the most powerful nations in Europe. Instead, it was divided up into small states, and now each inhabitant, each citizen of each of those states lives in poverty compared to the West. That shit's crazy. So that's where, I guess you could say, the ethnic nationalism leads to. Then you have the civic nationalism, which is like, we all fight for the same system, right? Think Rome. Rome is the perfect example of civic nationalism. The problem with that is it becomes distorted so much that you lose an identity. So, for example, Rome gave citizenship to everybody within the empire out of need because it overextended itself and it needed more warriors, it needed more legions, and it needed more people, more bodies. So why not give people a stake in the system? Well, that degraded the centralized identity of what a Roman citizen was. So America's kind of dealing with this right now because we don't have a strong underpinning of white Anglo-Saxon Protestant culture. that founded America, right? That is dissolving. Now there's Black America, Hispanic America, Asian America, you got white America, and even white America. They got liberals, and then you have the conservatives. And so you have many little cultures of these many different sects, and it's leading to the diffusion of the state, which is why we can't govern ourselves properly, because so many people see themselves in such different categories that you can't appease everybody. So everybody's fighting for their piece of the pie. Civic nationalism fails because we gave everybody a carve out. Sure, you can have your Black community. Sure, you can have your Hispanic community. Sure, you could have this. Instead of underpinning all these communities in what the country was founded on, Anglo-Saxon principles, because that's what gave it this power. That's the best system we have. That's the original system it was founded on. Imagine like what Rome was founded on, the Roman principles, right? And so now that we gave everybody carve-outs, we're not doing that anymore. Force everybody into the Anglo-Saxon European identity, but turn it into a civic section. For example, we're all Americans. Black, white, Asian, doesn't matter. But you adhere to European principles, white Anglo-Saxon Christianity, Protestantism. You adhere to all the principles of the founding fathers. There is no more Black culture. There's no more Hispanic culture, Asian culture, any culture besides the American culture for which it was founded on. Now, we will by default use WASPs because that's what was founded upon. And that's the one that gave us all the wealth and the opportunity, which is why everybody moved here. But anybody that comes here now until eternity in the future must assimilate into that underpinning of that culture. That's the hybrid form. Because if you allow the cutouts to happen, just like the Roman Empire, the Germanics, the Goths, the whoever else, the Gauls that came in and then now had citizenship, all start to accumulate power with their own self-interest. And then the empire gradually degrades culturally and then splits, falls apart. So America's degrading culturally because we're not all united under the American identity. We all are creating our own carve-outs for our own communities, and each one of these communities are vying for power. So we cannot effectively govern. This is why I say that we need a hybrid system, and the only system that would work is the one that breeds the nationalism with the civic duty underpinned by the American identity. So it doesn't matter what your skin color is, you got merit. Whether you're Black, white, Asian, Hispanic, who cares? If you're willing to lay down your life for this country and you show promise and aptitude and you have great leadership and all of that, then you will be elevated at the halls of power. There is no longer, oh yeah, it's skin color, it's all that shit. No, it's just that man, whether he's Black, white, Asian, who cares? I want to be like him. That guy's a primo example of what a man should be. Look at this. This is a great example. He's smart. He's decisive. He's a great leader. He sacrificed his life, blah, 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 for this stuff. Or willing to, blah, blah, blah. He shows an aptitude for whatever. And we look at that as men and we go, damn, that's the ideal to live up to. Any man should be given an opportunity to live up to that ideal, but you can only do it under one culture, one identity. The white American Anglo-Saxon culture, Protestant Christianity, or at least Christian beliefs. That's what the country is founded on, and that's what the identity needs to be. So we don't create carve-outs. You can't have any other culture. If we do that, we'll succeed. If we don't, we won't. I'm telling you. We're already, yeah. We're headed down, the part where Rome was falling because we have so many cultures in the United States. We can no longer effectively govern. So this is what I mean when I say we need one monolithic identity of America, Americans. And yes, you can look different, but you still operate culturally exactly the same.
House, and you can live there and you can enjoy Dubai. But if you crash your car into an Arab, it was your fault.
Yeah.
That's just how it is. Like, there's no way out of it, right? So the whole world's fucking racist except America. And these people are constantly and endlessly crying. It's like so ungrateful almost.
Yeah. Well,
it's ungrateful.
I think most of that comes from the Black community, though. I think that's what's keeping racism alive in this country.
Yeah,
and they got the white liberals pushing it too.
And Democrats.
Yeah.
Well, I think everyone's tired of it now, but they're going to keep trying to push it because it allows them to feel important for 5 seconds. So they're going to keep trying to push it.
Andrew, do you consider yourself to be African American?
Well, There's times. I'm like the day walker. I swap in and out. It depends.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
You know, like I had an auntie. She's black and she talks like a white woman until she gets mad. Then she's Jamaican.
Yeah.
You ever had one of them?
Yeah, definitely.
That's like me.
Yeah.
Depends on mood I'm in.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm white, sometimes I'm black, depends on mood I'm in.
Yeah.
But no, it's really interesting. And also, pattern recognition isn't racism. We need to make that very clear. Like if I think of a pedophile, I imagine a white man.
Yeah. Right.
And if I think of gang shooting, I imagine a black man. Call me racist, but that's just what I imagine, right?
When I think
you
of
imagine
tacos, I think of Latinos.
well, that's right. Yeah, 100%. Build the wall. So we got enough tacos. It's fine. We don't need any more. So
If I walk into a restaurant, a Latino restaurant, and I see a bunch of Asians making tacos, I'm walking right out.
100%.
Yeah.
So racial stereotypes also exist for a reason, but now we're going to try and tell us that we have to ignore basic pattern recognition or it's racism.
Right.
And this is the point that's difficult because I'll be completely honest with you. If I was Snow White and I was a police officer and I was in inner Chicago and it's 4 a.m. and I've stopped a Toyota Camry and there's 4 black guys in it. And my partner got killed 2 years ago because of a Toyota Camry with 4 black guys in it. And they're not complying. I'll be trigger happy. Now to pretend he's not, that's pattern recognition.
Yeah,
That's pattern.
That's
Now,
how you survive.
that's
in
how you
society.
survive in the world.
Yeah.
The reason our ancestors survived is because we saw someone go try and pet the lion.
Right.
Got eaten. And we're like, there's a pattern here.
Yeah.
You try. Oh, he died too. Okay, avoid the lion. Right. There's a pattern recognition. So
Right.
what's interesting, what's so scary about this racism argument is it prevents people. I'll give you another example of this in a second, but it prevents people from acting appropriately, understanding that perhaps the world's not a perfect place. Perhaps it's never going to be fully balanced. So you need to understand when you are going to be deemed more of a threat. So if I was a completely black person in that Toyota Camry, I would say this officer's intimidated guys. We would be on our best behavior.
Right.
Now they'll sit and say, I shouldn't have to do that. You shouldn't have to lock your door at night.
Yeah.
But you do.
Right.
The world's not a perfect fucking place.
Right.
There's no such thing as shouldn't have to.
Right.
I'm a big man. If I go and knock, let's say my car breaks down and I go knock on someone's door in the middle of the night, I know that I'm scary. If a little girl knocks, they may open it. I'm going to be more intimidating. I have to keep that in mind. I'm not going to be at the door like they're trying to flex.
Yeah.
They're not going to fucking open it. You have to know the game you're playing.
Yeah, because
But-
white people, someone knock on their door, they're like, I don't know this guy. This is probably a home invasion.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
So what I'm saying is, and this get me in trouble, if you're a black person in the inner city and you understand how the inner city runs, when you're getting stopped by police, you should comply more than ever because you should understand perhaps it's unfair he has these preconceived notions. Perhaps it's unfair. Perhaps you're a great person. Perhaps, yes. But the world's not perfect.
Yeah. Right.
And thinking that the world is perfect and us trying to push this ideal version of the world where everyone ignores basic pattern recognition is bullshit and garbage. I'm more intimidated when I walk past 5 men. If I'm walking alone at night and there's 5 men on a street corner, I find that more scary than 5 women on a street corner. Am I sexist?
No.
No, that's fucking, I'm not a dumbass. I'm a realist.
Right.
I'm a realist. So this racism's gone so far now that we're disrupting the ability for people to be realists. So they're expecting a little white woman to walk past 5 big Negroes in the middle of inner city Chicago and be like, don't be racist, Jane. Don't be racist, Jane. Don't be racist. Hi, fellas. Like, bro, you're gonna lose your handbag, at least.
Right. That doesn't bother me. Like if I'm getting to an elevator, this has happened to us. We'll get in an elevator and it's just a white lady and she'll just back in the corner and just like grab onto her purse.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't blame you.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
I don't blame you at all.
But what's funny about it is they'll pretend that being intimidating is a terrible curse when it comes to something like a police stop, when they live their entire life trying to be as intimidating as possible.
Exactly.
You're standing a certain way, you're dressing a certain way, you're listening to certain music, you're fucking gangbanging. You want everyone to walk past you to know you're a real fucking G. You want everyone scared of you all the time. Except for when the cop gets scared and pulls his weapon, then it's like, whoa, what's the problem? You've been scaring people your whole fucking life. You've been intimidating people your whole life.
Right.
You could have had a 3-piece suit on.
Yeah, I think that word racism is losing its edge, especially in the don't give a F society that we're kind of living. We're swinging that pendulum way back from the progressive, politically correct world that we were just in even a few years ago. And it's swinging back hard, especially gaining momentum with, the left being such degenerates that they are. Essentially, the Charlie Kirk assassination, the ICE shooting, the other trans shooting, stuff like that. Like people are just sick of it. You see any company that tries to touch, LGBTQ advertisements or put like a trans woman or whatever on their videos and their ads, it's like go woke, go broke. People don't want to hear that shit. Jaguar, other companies that have tried to do rebrandings that were woke, absolutely tanking. Cracker Barrel was the latest one that tried to do woke shit, removing the old white man. They folded, put him back on there. They had a super woke CEO chick. People are done with that shit. Like, your words mean nothing, dude. Anything and everything could be racist to anybody who's offended. And it turns out people are so fucking soft today that everybody's offended by every fucking thing. So nobody cares anymore. Congratulations.
And a fucking little hat.
Yeah.
You've been fine. No, you're wearing a fucking Crip bandana. Why do you think I was a gangster?
Right.
Like,
Talking in Ebonics.
Yeah, but it's bullshit. So all of this is done on purpose. This whole racism argument's gone way too far. As far as I know, black people and white people have basically the fair treat. I mean, the law applies to all of us. DEI actually gave black people a whole bunch of advantages over white people. So to sit here and believe that this is a racist country is completely ignorant. It's not a racist country. And you can succeed in this country if you, no matter what skin color you are, if you try your best and you conduct yourself the right way. And perhaps there'll be the odd scenario where you feel like you're being treated differently because of your skin color in a negative, but also you're not talking about all of the times you were treated in a positive because of your skin color. Perhaps because you're a big black man, you have problems in police stops, but you ain't got problems walking alone at night like a little white person does. So there's a bunch of times people were sitting there waiting to rob someone and goes, not him.
Right.
So you had the pros and the cons.
Right.
So you get the pros and the cons of these things.
That's life.
That's life. So
You
it's
got to take advantage of the pros.
exactly. And just to go back on my point, because I mentioned it earlier and I just want to wrap it up. I said about how Africa's poor because it's rich. I watched a really interesting study. You should watch it. It was about what makes the perfect nation. Because I was trying to build the perfect country in my mind. Like what would make the perfect nation? It was talking about if you started from zero, how would you have the richest, most prosperous, perfect country? And it said the countries with the best weather are countries like England and Netherlands because you want it to be a little bit rainy. You want to be able to have agriculture and you don't want people to have too much fun for free. Like in Thailand, they ain't got to be rich. They just go to the beach, get coconut. They're living good. In England, you got to have a Ferrari and a mansion. You're still depressed.
Right.
So you work very hard. You pay a lot of taxes. There's a whole bunch of things involved with it. But it said that if you have a complicated societal structure, natural resources makes your country richer. So like Norway is very rich. They have oil and a bunch of natural resources, but they have a complicated social structure. So they dig the oil up and that money goes to the Norwegian Sovereign Wealth Fund, which goes into the stocks and bonds and the gold ETFs, and it's all tracked online, and they're a very rich country. Africa's super rich, but they don't have complicated systems. So what happens there is if they discover cobalt, the problem with natural resources is it doesn't require society to get the value of it. So if you have a country that builds jet engines, you now need factories, which takes workforce, which need houses, which need universities, which need schools, which need hospitals, which needs roads. So you have to build all this infrastructure around it to produce these jet engines. If you find cobalt, you just got to dig it up out of the ground. So Africa's problem is that it's so rich, they don't have these complicated structures. So what happens is they find cobalt, the dictator gets a deal from outside, usually the West, to get money into his pocket. They send a few soldiers and a few kids to go dig it up. They take all the cobalt out. It goes straight to the West. The dictator gets rich. None of the African people get rich. None of the African nation gets rich. They don't build anything. And the cobalt's gone. West is rich. Dictator goes to Dubai. Boom, done. So Africa's biggest problem is that it's actually so rich in resources that it's held back by how many things it has. If it didn't have any resources, they could build things and put it all together and start building jet engines, but they don't because they're like, look, we found something interesting
I don't
here.
know about
Dictator
that.
gets rich, few of the elites get rich, and the average person gets fucked. So it's kind of unfair. But that's the African story.
I don't know about that. I think, the magic soil theory that Europe just had the perfect conditions. I don't believe that shit either. You send a bunch of Norwegians out there in some random country. I mean, we have examples of that already. South Africa and Rhodesia. So it can't be because the soil and the weather over a long enough time period. It's more than that.
Do you think that's... I'm going to sound like a white supremacist when I say this.
I know what you're going to say. Don't even say
Do you think that's genetic?
Well,
But come on, man.
Byron Daniels is after me. Byron Daniels is after me. No, but let's think.
Well, let me take that back. It's not genetic, it's culture.
Yeah. I mean, but culture on a long enough time frame is genetic.
Yeah.
This is the problem.
Yeah.
So
You heard that? Culture on a long enough time frame is genetic.
like if when white people, you know what I love? If you watch on Twitter, it's actually the best argument. It's so fun. The race realists, the super racists who say like black people are genetically different to white people and you're more violent and and all this shit. They always attack me on Twitter and call me mulatto and all this shit. It's so funny. And I read all their shit. I read all their shit. I read all the race realism stuff. And I'm kind of sitting there going, kind of agree with some of it.
Yeah.
They're saying black people are more naturally violent. I'm like, hey, damn right. Watch out. But that's right, pussy. But culture on a long enough time frame becomes genetics. I mean, let's be honest. Is the average African as smart as the average Westerner? No. I would argue that if you go to the Central African Republic, where they don't have schools and they don't have infrastructure, and their parents haven't been to school and their grandparents haven't been to school, that probably they're not as smart as somebody who's their entire bloodline's been university educated. Probably that is true. So after a long enough time frame, it becomes genetic, and then you want to take enough of them and dump them over here and expect them to operate within complicated systems they don't fully understand.
That's true.
They're probably just going to say, "Fuck it, let's rob the store," and then you have. I mean, this is realism. This is realism.
Yeah, because you look at Africa, it's a continent, it's not a country. But if that was a country like the United States, with the resources they got, the manpower they have, it would be a superpower.
It should be
the biggest superpower.
It should be a superpower.
But this little United States, majority is white, is running the world.
Well, white people are the best at building complicated systems. That's what the white people do best.
Yeah.
I mean, like my camera guy who's off. There he is. Look at him. Look at him.
White
right?
guy.
These are the people who, in 1960s in NASA, when they did Apollo 11.
Yeah.
All them motherfuckers, there's like 20,000 of them, little white guys with glasses and pieces of paper and a pen, and they put something on the moon.
Yeah.
You get 10,000 black people in a room, tell them to achieve anything.
Dude, that was so wrong. But factual.
How long till there's a fight? Shaniqua's jumping in. She's trying to hit it. Like we're more family orientated. We're more clan orientated. Right?
Yeah,
you know,
more
like,
tribalistic.
We're tribalistic, which is a pro and a con. Again, these are pros and cons, but if you want to extrapolate it out towards a nation state, the thing the white man is best at is working with people he doesn't know. That's a white man's superpower. A white man will go, hello, I've got a bunch of money, and I want to.
I don't agree with that, because I think Japan is orientated very similarly to Western Europe in that sense. If you look at medieval Europe and then the shogunate era of Japan, you start to notice that there was these small carve-outs everywhere, small pockets of power. You had thousands of kings at one time in Europe, bannermen fighting for whatever. Same thing with Japan, the shoguns. That's a natural evolution of that system or that style of, what could you say? Self-governance that spawned from two very highly dense populated areas. Japan, obviously confined to the islands, but then Western Europe confined to that small landmass as well. So that system was born out of two separate cultures, Japan and Western Europe, that led to the superpower that he's talking about. I don't think it has anything to do, at least intrinsically, with whites, because it got reproduced somewhere in Asia as well with Japanese people. So, I mean, Tokyo was massive. It was the largest city, I think, pre-World War II. It was larger than any other European capital, if I'm not mistaken. So, but again, the development path was very similar. Shogunates, medieval Europe. Small pockets of power, constantly fighting, allegiances, contracts, agreements, right? Combinations of shogunates, kings coming together, marrying for power, stuff like that. So you developed a sort of a culture, a societal standard that led to the massive proliferation of, the state and what we call that today. And I think that also was mostly, I don't know. It's hard to say. Is that nature? Is that nurture? A lot of that for sure is nurture, right? How much of it was nature in terms of the geography? Because, you were locked in an island and then you were locked in that small part of Europe. Can this be reproduced in other parts of the world? Maybe. Probably. You take enough different people in a locked environment like that for a long enough time, you could probably reproduce it. Of course, if it's happened in one place or two places, in this example, it could happen in more. I think the development path was just different. Japan and Europe had developed in a similar fashion due to some maybe intrinsic cultural values. The Japanese were very high on, what would you say? Like the Miyamoto Musashi stuff, right? Like the warrior mentality, the discipline above all else, right? They had so many things going for them that helped them produce that kind of society. And then whites developed their own system, I guess, in a similar time with medieval Europe and Christendom leading them into those kind of values. So it's very interesting.
build boats. I've decided I want to build boats. So I'm going to go and find the best boat builder. John Smith. Hello, boat builder. I don't know you. You don't know me. This is called a contract. And let's do a contract and you're going to build the boats and I'm going to pay for it. And now we have a successful shipping company. In Africa, it doesn't work that way. They're like, I'm rich. I want boats. Who do I know? My cousin.
Yeah.
My cousin can't build boats. He doesn't know anything about boats, but that's who I know. He's the only guy I trust. He's in my clan. He's my family. So I go to my cousin. You're in charge of the boats. Okay, I will build the boats. And he takes the money, and then no boats get built, and everything's fine. That's why the finance minister is the second cousin of the fucking president, and nobody knows anything, and it's all insidious because you only trust your people. Now, I'm still like that now. I'm black enough like that now. I trust my brother, my people. So I got that black in me. But I'm also white enough to know I can do a contract and get a boat built. But white people are fantastic at trusting people they don't know. That's why white people are like howdy neighbor. They don't even know you. Howdy. White people have this weird, no, it's not weird, but the white people mentality is far more attributed towards the benefit of society with a larger understanding of working with those they're not directly correlated with. Whereas the black people is like, these are my people only. And it's very insular. But it becomes far more difficult to run a country that way with competence. If you want to run a country competently, you need to find the most competent man for the job. I don't know if this is true. I don't want to be held up on it, and I don't want to be attacked for it. It might not be true, but I heard something that when the British started selling their ships around, they were amazed that when they got to all these native countries, the Aboriginals in Australia and Africa and India, all these places, no one had heard of a contract. No one had heard of the idea of working with someone who wasn't their family. They're like, it's a contract. They haven't heard of a contract. No one had heard of it. So what? You just find anyone to do it?
Even heard of a house. They was living in grass huts.
Well, that's right. So they were like
savages.
Yeah. Well,
have you seen those videos of them eating? Hey, put this in here 20. Joe, put up those TikTok videos. These African tribes.
Byron, I'm sorry. Listen, I know you got busted for weed. Fucking talk about letting the black man down. For busted for fucking weed.
Check fraud.
Andrew Tate's human trafficker. You know, fuck this guy. I'm moving to Vegas. Fuck these people. Bring your case. Fuck you.
Yeah, make it bigger, Joe. These people have not evolved at all for like probably 5,000 years. Back to being a white man back in the slave days, said, yeah, we'll take these.
All right, so let's talk about this now.
Yeah.
We're going on race realism, and you know, we're the only people brown enough to get away with this, so we can do it.
Oh, we're not going to get away with this shit.
Well, let's talk about it, right? Yeah. So, the white man, where he grew up, primarily, they had to plan ahead in a way different than the Africans did. So, like, if you were in England, you had to grow grain, because that's how you eat. But grain only grows a certain part of the year. So you have to think ahead and you have to plan. You have to plow the field. Then you have to grow the grain. Then you got to build buildings to store it in. And that means you need a lot of people. A lot of people need schools, hospitals, roads, housing. Now you need a city. You have to plan everything over a year cycle just to have food. In Africa, they didn't have to do that. Mango. Boom. They just go get a mango when they're hungry. Go kill this. They had so much resource, they didn't have to plan ahead. Wait till you're hungry, kill something, eat it. You didn't have the same infrastructure that was required to eat.
Yeah, it gets cold.
Yeah, it's very, very interesting, no? That the global south is not as developed as the global north, especially right around the equator, where the weather is just, stable year round. Consistent, pretty much worldwide in that sense.
In Europe,
it gets cold. You got to build a house. You need firewood. You got to think ahead. You apply that across 1,000 years. You have a very different mentality towards life than you do in Africa, which is just pure brutal survivalism. That's what it is.
I've heard that argument because of the weather, white versus the white man and the black man. Both races evolved differently over time because living in a cold, horrible climate, you got to think.
Yep.
And you live in a warm.
Are there cold countries in Africa, guys, with like very high elevation? I'm curious. Somebody in chat tell me. We'll play some super chats. Is there a country that has like very, very cold climate despite being in Africa? I actually don't know.
IVENT $4.99. I can't imagine being African and looking around at people running around with machetes and having no idea who's on whose team. It's just bodies.
Yeah, you could say the same about Ukraine and Russia. Honestly. Brother versus brother right there. Same shit on a more destructive scale.
Ken Rose $5. Thumbs up emoji.
Thank you, brother.
Melu with Chris $9.99. Had to jump in from my quick break. Update, on my health is wealth journey, lost 20 pounds, and feeling
Nice.
great. Working
Good
on my
shit, bro.
first album Lo-Fi. Love your
Nice.
takes and perspectives. Keep at it, brother.
Thanks, brother. Good shit on the progress. So somebody said there's a mountain in Africa, Lesotho. Botswana snows every year. Hmm. Kenya and Ethiopia have high mountains, but it's not cold. Yeah. Is there a place, a large enough place where a community is gathered, a society, a culture, where they deal with very cold weather in Africa? I'm curious. I don't know. They always sell us as Africa is like this wonderland of like dense jungles and waterfalls and big game everywhere, but it's not all like, it can't be all like that. Not really? Wow. That's crazy. I wonder what it looked like before the Younger Dryas impact. 13,500 years ago, something like that. You guys know that the Sahara Desert was dense, lush jungle. What was the if that was dense jungle, what was the rest of Africa like? Can you imagine? All right, we've seen enough of this. Interesting conversation. Some people get mad at that stuff. I don't know why. It's so weird. Half the time they're dicking around. The other half is just have a conversation about this shit. We're different, and that's okay. And that's a strong point. Who the fuck wants to be NPCs just pumped out of a factory? We're all the same. What else we got here? All right. Apparently. Respect for you, man. Yeah, respect for you too, brother. Thank you for tuning in. We have some weird video here, apparently. This is the extremely civil discussion that the riot at Tennessee State started with. So the mob is growing and then blocking these guys out, screaming racism and stuff and all sorts of epithets, and all because of conversation. I guess they're trying to do something similar to, they got a MAGA hat, 4547, and it didn't go as planned. So let's see
what part of our systems is for people of color?
All of it. The entire system is for everybody. Anybody who's an American citizen.
So you feel like there's nothing. So you feel like everybody is equal.
Yeah.
And
I mean, everybody's equal in their rights, but not everybody's obviously equal in their, what they have. Like, I grew up in a double wide trailer. He grew up in Boca Raton, so we didn't grow up equal. We're both white. I mean, he's a Jew, so that's probably why he grew up in Boca Raton. But so we're not equal in what we possess as we start always, but we are equal in what we're allowed to do, our opportunity.
Can I ask you, do you think that there's any law that allows me to do something that you can't do, for example?
I don't think there's any laws that say that you can do something that I can't. But then again, this system can't be ignored. Like, we can't just say it does not exist, because there are countless examples of it existing.
Maybe just one example of what you're talking about. So what's wrong with the system that allows, I guess, racism to be systemic or institutionalized?
See, bro, this is what makes these conversations so weird. It's like when you get pressed just a little bit on your ideas, people fold dramatically. I'm being oppressed. Okay, give me one example. I don't know. What? If you're getting oppressed that hard, surely you have examples of how the system literally has held you back. Ironically, you're at a campus, and probably even more ironic, you probably have a scholarship or a fund that somehow got you through the doors in some way, or maybe even benefited from DEI directly. So it's nuts, dude. It's disingenuous.
I mean, I would argue the opposite. Like, again, we have civil rights acts on top of civil rights acts, in addition to the 14th Amendment's equal protection clause. 14th Amendment being written for the sole purpose of expanding and equalizing the rights of white people and black people. And furthermore, the 14th Amendment equal protection clause echoes exactly what like the Civil Rights Act says, right? You cannot be discriminated based on your inalienable characteristics like your race, your sex, your sexuality, etc.
But even though we have these laws, that doesn't stop it from happening. We still know that.
You're right, racism does happen still, even though there are laws that ban it. And I think that those laws are oftentimes used to enforce a culture of anti-racism in the United States. We actually cancel people for being racist all the time. But we have in the system, as far as the system goes, you can't stop people from being racist on an individual level, unfortunately. It happens in every country, on every continent, all around the world, and it has since the beginning of time. But what you can do is make it illegal to institutionalize it by saying, you can't allow you have to allow everybody to eat at your restaurant. You can't not admit people based on their color. You can't prioritize people based on their color, etc.
I don't know how this goes south. We're already like a quarter way in the video. It seems like a civil discussion.
And I would say that I would say getting rid of DEI works towards that objective.
So, y'all had say make America great again. How do y'all feel that America is not great, and how do y'all feel that America can be great again? And when was it great?
Yeah, I would say that the most recent example of America being great was the first term of Donald Trump. And then we had 4 years of Joe Biden in chaos, and then Trump is president again. So this was his campaign hat for his, lead up to his second term.
All right, starting to destroy their setup.
Come on, really? Seriously? Yo.
Oh, you better not, boy! You better not!
Okay.
You better not!
What? How? You what?
Yo.
You what? Look. Where does the anger come from? You better not. What? Look.
You better not, boy! You better not!
Okay.
Look at this dude jumping up and down.
You better not!
Guys, we're literally just here to have civil discussions.
College. This is college, by the way. These are college-educated future leaders of America. What?
Bring the sign back.
Wow, dude, you can't even have a conversation. Remember what I told you about the carve-outs? This is what's happening. They don't feel like they're a part of America. They feel like America is holding them back, that America is somehow the enemy, and that the whole system must be destroyed in order for them to have a well-being and succeed. You see what I mean? There's no more American identity. There is now a specific section completely away from the rest of the system. Whether you're white, whether you're Asian, whether you're black, whether you're a leftist, whether you're a liberal, whether you're a conservative, everybody's got these little carve-outs. This is why we can't manage our country at all. This is why we're falling apart in real time. We don't have a unified identity. I told you guys. The hybrid system is the only way forward with this shit. We have to eliminate literally every other culture and institute in a one size fits all. This is what it means to be an American. Everything else has to get stamped out. It's for the good of the nation. We're going to fall apart the way Rome did. It's crazy. What are you learning at school here? Like future doctors, future lawyers, future engineers, future whatever fuck they're majoring in. Like what? Do you have any confidence that anybody here is going to take care of you in a professional setting that requires passing a board or some state exam or something on a professional level? What is the point of this entire college anyways? What's going on here? What are our institutions teaching young people anymore? Is this value for money? Are these not businesses? This is like a degree mill. They get a piece of paper, spend 4 years getting into debt to come out for a job that most likely won't hire them, doesn't exist, especially with the advent of AI. And the college makes its money because Big Daddy government funds it. And what future is there for them? What was the point of college for these people? What's happening here? What? And the BLM head just got found. I just read something. Hold on, I gotta look this up. I think the BML head was just discovered that they were siphoning money out of the organization and living a lavish lifestyle. Okay.
They're always gonna be upset. They're always gonna be mad.
We're gonna do like a little end live pre-game or post-game situation here. We have 500 people watching.
We've got 500 right here watching.
Look. Whoa. This is insane.
Don't send your kids to college in America. Just don't. They'll turn into brain dead goofies.
What the heck?
Unreal. Look at this. What is this? What? You're paying tens of thousands of dollars. This is what you're paying money for?
Oh my gosh. Hey, you're pretty close. Yeah.
Well, I think the Fearless tour definitely made an impact.
Yeah.
Oh, whoa.
Did somebody just throw something in our car?
Arrest.
They just tried to hit the car.
Imagine getting emotional and worked up over a conversation. This shit's crazy, dude.
My gosh.
I think Horace is still out there trying to make sure the car is safe.
Thank you guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you, officers.
Wow. Hey!
Yeah, they threw a drink up top.
Oh my gosh, they threw a drink up top. Yeah, we got this all live. I'm posting this directly after so everyone can see exactly what happens.
Holy shit.
Oh
Wow.
my gosh.
Turn up a lot.
All right, guys, we are out of here. We'll see you later from the Fearless Tour gang.
Are they gonna block me in here now?
I think that might be what they're trying to do. They're intentionally blocking us.
They're blocking us. Here comes the cop. I'm not going to hit it now, I guess. I'm not going to hit it now, I guess. We've got more stuff. They're hitting the car.
I thought they wanted us to leave.
They're hitting the car. We're trying to leave, and they're telling us to leave, and they don't want us to leave, I guess. Hey! They are still hitting the car.
That's crazy.
How is this a university?
Yeah, how is this the universe? That's a great question.
Look, they're intentionally blocking us. They want us to leave, but they don't want us to leave.
It's like the biggest conundrum of all time. They're still hitting the car. This is wild.
Damn, bro. Look at them bots, dude. Look at the faces of the bots.
This is wild.
Look at the bot. Look at the bot right here. I got this on video. World star. What the fuck is this? This is college, bro. You went to college to be like this. Are you fucking kidding me? Look at the bots, bro. America is the land of NPCs. We're so fucking cool. Look.
Apocalypse or something, man. Like they're
Look. Look at this guy right here. Look at the bot. Look at him. Look at him. Oh, yeah, bro. Filming you. Oh, life was a movie. We ran out these two guys having a conversation, bro. Sick. A BLM. Do you see what I mean? If this is how deranged these people are, can you imagine what the rest of the leftist liberals are like? Actively getting indoctrinated in our elite. Elite is a stretch of a word here, but in our real elite institutions, imagine the indoctrination. Look at this. Where was this at? Where was this at? HBCU, Tennessee State. Wow, Tennessee State. Tremendous. This is the future leaders of America. And look at how radicalized to the left that they are. Do you know of any conservatives that are like this, that behave in this fashion? I'm like, genuine question here. Have you seen conservatives running around? Do we have any videos? Chat, can you send me on email? I'd love to cover conservatives losing their absolute shit like this in school, a conservative college perhaps. Send me something. Please, I'd like to see the other side of the nutty right in them. Do they look like this? The rioting. I want to see the like pretty much scaring these guys out of the college campus over a conversation. Do we have an example? Holy shit, that's crazy.
IVENTIA $4.99. I'd be in my dorm like, what in the F is going on? Oh, they got signs. Hell no, I'm going back to bed.
That's crazy to me, dude. This is a waste. These are 4 years that you've wasted in school doing absolutely fuck all with your life. Nothing.
Whoa! That was loud.
Wow. The cops just came and do their fucking jobs. We're like, what's this guy doing in the front? Clearly, this person doesn't want them to leave. The cops can't protect you to save your fucking life. They're literally hitting your car. They're jumping up and down, acting like fucking animals. You can't. This is a college campus where you're supposed to go and debate ideas and deconstruct conversations and debates and what's going on here. So the left doesn't want any debate. You cannot have any ideas. You can't push back on left speak whatsoever. Can you imagine what would happen to these guys if the cops weren't here? That's crazy.
David Wallace $4.99. Bo, when do you think enough is enough? What will it take people to finally rise up and realize both sides are inherently corrupt?
I don't know. We have to hit a pain point for the general population. Fortunately, I don't see that happening. I see us getting further and further radicalized and digging into each side as each side demonizes the other, and it's going to end in the exact way you don't want it to end, which is what we're trying to avoid. But look at how radicalized the left is.
She's gonna do this the whole way out of here. Oh, here we go.
Just go
No,
the
please.
opposite direction, David. David, just go straight.
They do not debate with their ideas, guys. They just... whoa. Yeah, we're gone now. We are gone now.
Wow.
Oh.
That's crazy. Triggered by your hats. It's like red flags are the bulls. Red hats makes liberals chimp out, huh? Jeez. I mean, they're literally insane. Like this debate with Destiny here, I remember. Where was it at? Right here. Yeah. This is what I was wanting to watch. I don't know what the fuck's happened to Destiny in the past year or so, but dude, he's fucking off his rocker. He lost his mind. He did good. I think he peaked when he was shitting on red pillars and the hypocrisy of the red pill. And he found his little carve out and niche there. But as of recently, dude, the fucking Adderall just fried his ass. Fried him completely. Like the Adderall, his wife leaving him for a dude that was even more of a beta than he was. And then his son turning out to be like a Nazi supporter. Like his life spiraling, dude. He's absolutely spiraling.
Charlie Kirk.
A guy from Utah who was raised in a Christian family, who was a 22-year-old
guy
white
described
dude. He wasn't
Destiny.
trans. He didn't have a trans girlfriend. He didn't have any trans influences. He didn't have any trans bullets. Yeah, I'm sorry, you guys were wrong on all of that.
To be clear, the governor of Utah, Spencer Cox, has made it clear that their investigation has now established that he had been radicalized by a leftist ideology, which drove him to do this. That's just
I'm sorry, excuse me, when?
Yesterday, he said that.
No. When was he radicalized? In the 6 months that he did remote college?
I don't know when he was radicalized, but I do know.
What you just said
I do
is not
know
true.
the very reasonable sounding governor of Utah has made it clear that the event.
He hasn't made it
you may
clear.
not want
He
to
said
hear
this is
this.
an ongoing investigation.
You may not want to
You don't
hear
wanna
it, Destiny,
it.
but the reality is the investigators, according to the governor of Utah, have established that he was radicalized to a leftist ideology that drove him to murder Charlie Kirk. Now, let me just ask you.
That's just not true.
Let me just
There's
ask
no
you.
way to deal with it.
Okay,
You're living in a
accusing the
delusional
governor of
fantasy.
lying.
Yeah.
That's your prerogative. But if it turns out to have been somebody with a leftist ideology who wanted to shut up Charlie Kirk, would you condemn that?
I won't condemn anything until the president of the United States can go on air and say, all of us need to calm down.
So you won't condemn the murder of Charlie Kirk until Donald Trump says something.
I'm a YouTuber. Leftists and Democrats have been condemning and turning down the temperature, condemning violence, turning down the temperature for a decade. Donald Trump can't go on TV and say, all of us need to calm down.
Right.
Can you?
Democrats and leftists have been turning down the temperature. Does he not remember what happened under Biden? Does he not remember the deplorables? Does he not remember this is a threat to democracy? That MAGA are racist, that they're Nazis? Or what timeline are we living under? How can you say that so bold-faced and think nobody will see through your bullshit? What? They've literally been saying that Republicans, that MAGA, that Trump, that they're fascist, that Trump's going to be a dictator, that he's not going to give up the president. They literally have been saying that for ever since the campaign started. What is he talking about? That's so what?
You tell me why he cannot.
Why
tell
would you
his
expect
side
anybody,
to calm down.
Destiny?
You can't answer that. Can you answer that question? Why can't
Can
Trump
you
go on
answer
TV
this
and say,
question?
all of us should be less violent?
Why do you
can't
think?
Trump say that?
Why do you
Why
think?
is your behavior contingent on Donald Trump?
Insane right now.
Why
do you
is
think?
your
No, let me
behavior
ask a
contingent
question.
on Donald Trump?
Let me
Why
ask
is
a
that?
question.
Because he's the president of the United States of America and the leader of the
Destiny. Let me
You
just.
have a huge audience of young men who
I'm a
listen to
YouTuber
everything you have to
who
say.
has more
So
young
when
men
you,
following
it
him.
doesn't
Who
matter.
has
You have a
more young-
huge
it doesn't
audience,
matter.
and because
This
of
is
the fact that
world
you have a
I'm
huge
living in,
audience,
and
you
your
have
brain
a
has been
responsibility
broken by
to
online
not
rhetoric.
turn. No,
And
it
your
hasn't.
brain
It
has
hasn't been
been
broken. I
destroyed
actually care
because
about the
people
country
bullied you
and
on
want to bring
Twitter.
people together.
If
You do
then
the
you should tell
opposite.
Donald
You
Trump to
represent
tell
the
people
worst
to
of us,
be
Destiny.
less
You're
violent.
embarrassing.
You should tell
You're
Donald.
embarrassing.
All right, let me ask
Watch how
Destiny
easy
a
this is.
question.
Watch how easy this
No,
is.
hang on. Don't-
He did go crazy after he got cucked. Yeah, he did. I called that shit too, by the way. If you guys can go back and find whichever video it was, I can't remember when I covered it. I gave a prognosis of his relationship when he was admitting they had like an open relationship deal. And I said something like around 6 months or so. And I swear around the 6 month or so mark, that shit ended. If somebody can find that, that'd be great.
Donald shout at once, please.
If Donald Trump would have come out
Destiny,
and say, hey, we should all be less violent,
Destiny,
I have no problem saying
I have one
absolutely.
question for you,
Why
Destiny.
can't conservatives do that? Why can't conservatives do that?
Destiny, I have a question for you. Why do you think in your campaign for everyone to dial down the temperature, why do you think that mocking the grieving widow of Charlie Kirk when she posts an image of
disgusting.
her at the coffin side, why do you think that constitutes turning down the temperature?
Bro, this is what I mean, putting this out. Sunlight, best possible disinfectant. The grieving widow. And he says that I didn't even know he put that. She tagged him in the casket pic. Wow. Mockery to the widow. What does she have to do with any of the rhetoric that he was spewing? This is why you have to keep these people out in the open, because if you try to ban him, he's going to further dig himself into a corner of the internet where his supporters become more and more radical, more ardent. And you'll never be able to get this out of their head. You almost martyr these people when you deplatform them. This is why this censorship that the leftists were doing under Biden backfired on them dramatically. This is why when they censored Alex Jones, Nick Fuentes types, and all the other ones, all it did was swell up their supporters. All it did was give them more and more diehard support, more hardcore supporters that would never leave them, because it's vindication. When you ban these people from platforms, you no longer can bring them towards the middle to have a conversation and say, for example, deconstruct their conversations. it's over. Now, if you do the same thing to Destiny that people were asking for, despite how disgusting his rhetoric is and all that stuff, you can't bring him out in the open here so that you can literally make him look out to be the fool that he is. This is the problem.
You can't turn down the temperature on your own. The president of the United States is not
the temperature.
able.
You're
to
mocking his widow.
You're
mocking his widow.
About? We've had multiple political assassinations over the past year. What do you mean it's turning up the temperature?
Why did you mock his widow?
Online because
Why did you mock his widow?
Because she's being used as a political weapon right now for conservatives to continue. What do you mean? Wow, she's literally doing.
Her husband just got murdered
on email. Yeah, and she's using it to drive up recruitment for
and
a
you
political
can't even
movement.
condemn the murder. You won't condemn it.
Can't even tell his side.
You're
to
so
turn the temperature
deranged
down.
about Trump that you
are
cannot condemn the
unhinged.
murder
It is such
because
a
you're
joke,
waiting
and
for
you guys-
Donald.
Imagine saying that he's unhinged when you're the one posting fucking emojis under the picture that she posted burying her husband. Or the casket photo where he was carried wherever he's being carried. Oh, wow, dude. Wow.
Iraq $4.99. There needs to be Scott prison in all 50 states. Like the one in El Salvador.
Yeah. Well, the limp-wristed Republicans won't do anything, so.
Maryland Guy 0326 $4.99. We're in the fourth turning. I've been reading up about it. Despite advancements, human nature has always been the same. This is why history repeats. Jason $432 $9.99. Really appreciate everything you've been doing with your videos. Please keep it up. This is one of my favorite channels.
Thanks, brother. Appreciate you.
IVEN tier $4.99. Yeah, I'm cringing. I can't lie, this is embarrassing. I'll turn the volume back up when you say something, Bo. Holy tirade.
Thanks, brother. It's hard listening to Destiny try to argue, dude. He gets so emotional and fucking the Adderall, dude.
Trump to say something. Off of it. It's
all right, let me bring in Jack. Let me bring in Jack Posobiec. I gotta say,
there's still no answer to that question, Piers. You can't say
which question?
Why can't Donald Trump simply go on TV and say we all need to turn it down, like Biden could, like Obama could, like the Clintons could, like Kamala could? Why not?
Why can't you condemn the murder of Charlie Kirk?
It's unbelievable. I'm not the president
Why
of the United States.
Why can't you condemn the murder of Charlie Kirk?
Unbelievable to me.
Why can't you condemn the murder of Charlie?
Yeah, what does the president have to do with you personally condemning the murder? Especially when you have leftist rhetoric that's actually been used and acted upon. Like him and Hassan and whoever else is on the leftist side of YouTube and Twitch and all these other fucking degen streamers that say crazy shit like, you know, you got to fight for your rights. You're going to have to take action. We want to see blood. All this crazy shit that they're saying. Why? What does Trump have to do with you personally just condemning or not being such a massive piece of shit to leave fucking emojis under a casket picture of somebody who was just murdered? What a massive piece of shit. What is Trump? Oh, Trump. I won't say nothing until Trump does. Are you a fucking child or something? Do you not have your own agency? Where's the civility, dude? Like the same type of degenerate that we saw in the prior video with those kids at the HBCU. So no different. Literally deranged.
Charlie Kirk.
Because it wasn't my side that caused it. It should be the one that is driving up the rhetoric.
It actually was your...
It wasn't my side that caused it. Do you see how they think of in terms of teams, how tribal leftists are? My side, my team, my people. You're American, you fucking moron. America is your side. You think everybody else in the rest of the world gives a shit about your side? They're just looking at Americans tearing each other apart. Can you tone down the leftist rhetoric? Hey, maybe Trump's not a Nazi. Maybe MAGA aren't fucking racist looking to take your rights away. Maybe stop saying dumb shit like that out loud. Oh, no. When Trump says something after the media has demonized him and MAGA, I'm not even Republican, I'm not MAGA, I'm not none of that. When they were demonizing them constantly, maybe you should be like, you know what, guys, that's crazy. I don't condone political violence at all. I'm not a fan of Charlie Kirk, and I don't like the way they're parading him around to drive up TPUSA memberships and all that shit, but I don't condone political violence. Don't care if Trump the president, which I don't support, doesn't step up and turn the temperature down, I will at least for my audience. Can't even say that. That's the bare fucking minimum.
Your side that caused it. It was your side.
This guy was raised in a white Christian
He was a
household,
radicalized
in a Christian
leftist
state.
ideology.
He wasn't radicalized by leftism at all. You have no proof of that whatsoever.
That's what
Just
the
like
investigators
the one that killed
are
Melissa
saying.
Was a conservative, just like the people that firebombed Shapiro's house was a conservative, just like all.
Didn't his parents say he was a leftist? Didn't neighbors say he was a leftist? I mean, when you have Antifa shit on your bullets, does that mean you're a leftist? He's got a trans roommate. He may or may not have been fucking girlfriend. Has the information changed since then? Think about it.
The J6ers were conservatives, like the Proud Boys were conservatives. Every single one of these people. Oh, it's Jack Posobiec. What, the author of Unhuman? Another person that Charlie supported? Good one, dude.
Well, I'll give you one last chance, Destiny, to condemn the murder of Charlie
Yes, you
Kirk.
are acting like an unhuman.
Why can't I hear Donald Trump condemn violence
So,
in this
all right,
country?
you
Why
won't
can't I
condemn
hear
it. Okay, we've
I
all
can't hear it.
heard.
That's insane
We've
to
all
me.
heard you repeatedly refuse to
And
condemn
we've
it.
heard Donald Trump refuse to condemn it
Jack
too. But for some
Posobiec.
reason, the leftists on YouTube are a bigger deal. Unbelievable.
Yeah, what's incredible is you don't have the basic humanity to condemn it. You'd rather taunt his widow. I find that.
No wonder his son is a Nazi and hates him. No wonder his wife's left him and cucked him on both occasions. No wonder nobody can stand this dude. And he's alleged ped. Alleged. I don't know for sure. I don't even know what's going on with that saga and what he's done. But I know he's even had pictures of, what is it, the revenge porn stuff? Where he sent pictures or videos of chicks that he's been with to other women without their consent. Crazy shit. I don't even know what the fuck has been happening. What the hell? What the fuck is wrong with Destiny, dude? Yeah, basic humanity. That's an understatement.
Sickening. Jack Posobiec.
I find it sickening that when people are getting killed in the country, the president of the United States on Fox and Friends, when they're begging him, what do you say to your followers that want revenge? He says, I don't know. All the elections are rigged. It's the radical Democrats. That's insane to me. And then the fixation is, well, who on Twitter and YouTube isn't condemning the violence?
All right, Jack Posobiec.
You have a great example here of the type of cancer I'm talking about, where when you present direct information, they refuse, they obfuscate, they refute, they say it's not true, they lie. You could see from the bullet casings, you could see from postings, you could see from everything out there that it's very clear what happened here. This is the same people who supported President Trump almost getting assassinated twice last year, Corey Capatore being assassinated
By
last year
conservatives.
in a situation. Again, see, just lies. That's all they do. They talk over. They don't even let you give a chance to speak. And something needs to be done, Piers. Something absolutely needs to be done. This ideology should be shamed, humiliated, driven from the public discourse. I mean, you've got people who have completely dissociated with humanity because all they care about are clicks and YouTube streams and likes. Go to the casket. Go to the gravesite. Go talk to the widow. I don't even know how to discuss this with someone who's completely lost all touch with reality.
Yeah, I mean, Anna.
What's Jack's answer to why can't the president say we should all be less violent?
Right. Because you can't even condemn the cold-blooded execution of Charlie
Donald Trump
Kirk.
turns on Destiny.
I don't think you're in the position to demand anything from anybody
on YouTube. That's how I'm going to take my.
You're
my
not in any
pointers,
position
really?
to condemn anybody for anything. You won't condemn.
This is Trump. Like, they make fun of it, saying TDS, Trump derangement syndrome. Every single question they throw at him, but what about Trump? But Trump. Nope, he was conservative. Trump, TDS. This is like the epitome, the encapsulation of TDS inside of one broken, degenerate leftist right here. This is TDS in a human being.
Because he's the
Cold-blooded
president
murder.
of the United States. He's the president of the United States. No one here can answer that question.
Basic
Why Donald
humanity
Trump-
says
why
the murder
Donald Trump,
was
the president,
horrific.
can't say
Why can't
all
you
of us
say
need
it?
to be less violent.
Why can't you
Democrats
say
have been
it,
saying
Destiny?
for over a decade.
To
Democrats
say
have
the
been saying it for over
murder
a
was
decade.
horrific and
Why
unacceptable.
can't Donald Trump say it?
You can't do
why
it,
does no
can
one
you?
hear any words for Donald Trump?
All right, Anna
What do you have for
Kasparin.
Donald Trump? Nothing exactly.
Anna Kasparin, to me, this is what I'm talking about, that I think there is an element of the left, the hard woke left, that have completely lost their minds. If you are not able to just outright simply condemn the murder of Charlie Kirk, and if you cannot stop yourself from mocking his grief.
Bro, he's fucking out of his mind on Adderall, dude. He's so jumpy. Like, you notice how everyone here is just still calm, waiting for their moment to speak. And he's like, his eyeballs, dude, are just jumping from left to right everywhere. He's like spinning in his chair and his fucking jaw just moves left and right, all weird. Get off the drugs, bro.
Grieving widow, you are sick, as I've just seen from Destiny. It's a sick
thing is
mindset.
weaponizing a widow's grief to try to do recruitment for your political party. That's probably one of the most disgusting things I've ever seen. She's showing up in emails for recruitment drives for TPUSA.
Destiny? What did you think the assassination of a political figure would do? What did you think the outcome was going to be? What did you think the outcome was? And by the way,
are you asking
really,
me for the pragmatic political outcome?
behavior?
Or are you asking
hold
me
on,
for?
let me. Hey,
you're
how
asking me a
about
question,
take it
so I
easy
didn't know
on
it
the
was rhetorical.
Adderall? Take it easy on the Adderall, and let me answer the question that Pierce asked me.
You must have been really bullied today, I
my
guess.
behavior,
Let Anna speak, please.
My behavior is not reliant on how anyone else behaves. Every morning I wake up and I make decisions about how I choose to react or respond to things. I don't wake up in the morning, check what Donald Trump has to say, and then base my own personal behavior on his behavior. I agree with you in that it would be very helpful to have the leader of this country want to turn the temperature down. And he hasn't done that. I agree with you on that. But that doesn't change the way I choose to respond to what's going on. The idea of mocking a woman who is now a widow with 2 young children who witnessed her husband get shot in the neck and bleed out to death. How could you mock that? What is wrong with you? I just don't understand it. That's it. I don't understand it. I don't understand you, Destiny. You have so much hatred in your heart, and at the same time, you
it's such a simple thing.
others
If you're
as
going to
hateful.
weaponize somebody's grief against the other party, well, then of course people have a right to fight back against it. I think that she has every right to grieve in whatever way she wants, but when that grief is going to be weaponized to do recruitment, political recruitment, and further radicalization of the other side, then of course you now.
Okay, there it is. There it is. So it's called further radicalization of the right. So recruiting for the absolute moderate, the most milquetoast of them all, conservatives, is political recruitment. Now we understand why he feels the way he does. This is political recruitment and radicalization to one side that's against his entire worldview and attacking his way of life, apparently. There you go. Now we understand. That's what it was right there. It came out. It slipped out right there. All right, we understand now. It's the left fighting against each other because Anna's left and he's left and it's the left eating its own tail. Now we understand. For you to be a Charlie Kirk type, completely in the middle, is considered to leftists as a radical, which means that your death, as we've seen with Charlie Kirk, was deserved, according to leftists, because you spew radical hate. So don't be surprised if somebody tries to take you out and take your life out. But it's you that needs to tone down the rhetoric also. So while there's snipers, these shit shots perching up like the dude with anti-ice and, Charlie Kirk in the future degenerates that will attempt these things, it's you that needs to turn down the rhetoric, because as a Charlie Kirk supporter and somebody who signs up for that violent, radical right rhetoric, you deserve everything that's coming to you, right? Okay. They will mock you. They will mock your death. They will piss on your grave. They will harass your loved ones as they grieve for you. This is the left. This is what they stand for. Unreal. Yeah, I don't know if there is no meeting these people in the middle. There is no middle for them. Anything to the right of them is radical. What middle? What are you talking about? Jesus Christ, you guys are tweaked out of their fucking mind.
BB $6.55. As a father, there is a common theme for humans. You can't listen and speak at the same time. Be kind to each other.
It's time to get radical in here. Oh my God, can you feel the toxicity? We really want masculinity to be great again. Hats are in the store, by the way, back in stock. We got different colors now. If you haven't, grab some. Support the channel directly and be toxic and radical and deserve death, according to the left.
Size $10. It's not about what happened to Destiny, this is who he was all along. I would never listen to a bottom-feeding loser. These people are demonic and must be completely defeated politically.
That's true.
IVENT $4.99. The candlelit vigil is further radicalization. I've seen birthday parties get more radical than that. Bros trying to clutch the 1v4 for no reason.
The only thing he clutches is another man's balls while he watches his wife get pounded out. Let's be honest, dude. How else can you describe the mental regression at this level? Incredible. This is what happens, dude. The leftism, the progression destroys the mind. Literally, he's broken. His brain has been broken. Oh my God. Wow. I don't see the Democrats doing well in the next couple election cycles. I'd be shocked, honestly. I know they can drum up support and try to radicalize their base, but their base is shrinking dramatically because of shit like this, because they're the party that celebrates a man being assassinated, or the party that, laughs at a widow grieving her husband, that wishes death on their children. This is the left. And plenty from the left that were considered moderate left, or, slightly leaning left, the center types, they've completely abandoned ship. The Democrat Party, they don't represent them at all. This is disgusting. This is inhuman. There is no human decency with these people. If that's what you stand for, if you actively champion that, if that's what you support, then there's no meeting you in the middle. There's no compromising. You don't deserve any olive branches. Politically, you must be isolated and destroyed. We can't run a country with these kinds of people. You can't. It's disgusting, dude. There is no humanity in them. They have no empathy for you. If this happened to one of theirs, if you want to consider it a team, as if it's any fucking difference, if you want to consider it like that, you would have some empathy for, like, oh my God, a man, a father just lost his life. His children will have to grow up. For what? What did he do? Oh, he had conversations. Like, can you imagine if Destiny, I don't even want to put his name out and say some shit like this, but can you imagine that he goes out and does these college talks that he's trying to do, and they failed miserably because no one wants to hear this fucking cuck speak anyways, so they all bombed. But do you imagine you go on a college campus to have these conversations, some deranged lunatic from the right just decides to ice you because you're just talking to people and you're questioning their beliefs. That's it. And your sentence is now death because of that. And, imagine everybody else laughing, pissing on your grave, harassing your family, making fun of you, making their life hell because we have a disagreement. Really? Is that how brittle your fucking ideology is? Is that how emotionally unstable your entire worldview is? That you can't handle conversation? Any pushback is seen as a threat to your entire identity, so that a man now he should lose his life.
Thomas $4.99. If Trump didn't win, we would have been cooked extra crispy. They are a different kind of evil, can't explaining it in words.
Yeah, it's that's what sucks too. We didn't really have any good choices. We got sold out on both sides, just sold out in different ways. So, yeah. Anyways, it's been a blast. Hope you guys enjoyed the stream today. Very soon after October 1st, guys, they're going to be Monday through Friday, or I'm not sure actually. Maybe Tuesday through Saturday. I don't know what good times. We'll see what good times are to stream and stuff. But I'll have a real studio finally. We'll be doing the show like we had before with an actual studio room. And topics just like I was covering before, or monologues. Thank you guys, though, as usual. Take care of yourselves. Hopefully you have a good weekend, good morning, good evening, good night to everybody around the world tuning in. Touch some grass. Get off the internet. Don't let X and social media get into your brain too much. I am sure the moment you open it up, we will see the next thing that's going to piss you off and get an adrenaline and dopamine dump right on your brain and could ruin your day. Pick up, lift some heavy things. That actually helps with depression. Can rewire some of those neural pathways. Actually can help you forget painful moments from history. Trauma. Did you know big caveman lift big rock? Trauma go away from brain. Bad memory disappear. It's true, actually. Science proved it. So listen to some nice music, relaxing shit. Some Mozart, some Bach, right? And no degenerate shit, no repetitive beats. And hopefully you guys have a good weekend. May stream tomorrow, don't know yet. But like usual, see you on the next one, everybody.